I'm Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
And I'm John.
And this is Comicsplaining.
The show where God himself could not sink this ship.
And he tried.
He did. Several times at this point, actually.
Yeah, the unsinkable Titanic. Not having a great go. Not having a great go of it. It doesn't seem like it's going so hot, no. So last week, which we didn't know until this past Monday, which is, I'm not even going to tell you when that was for you because it's all depressing. It's frankly depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd had some issues, and it straight up lost 2 hours and 15 minutes of sound. It's like, oh, the file's corrupted. So I go and I find all this thing, and I'm going to uncorrupt the file, and it takes me a while. I finally do. And when I get the fixed file, 2 hours and 15 minutes of silence.
So, we have our first legendary lost episode. It was the funniest episode we'll ever make.
Mm-hmm.
God, motherfucker, you don't even know what you missed.
It was so great. God had to smite it from the face of this earth.
Clearly,
Because
he didn't like hearing us talk about Bob and how much work he'd put into making the comic
God,
look
Bob
good.
worked so hard to make that
hard
comic look good.
on those comics.
We can't
They
besmirch
noted
his
it, and
name.
they noted it for a reason.
We cannot besmirch his name.
Poor Bob.
Poor Bob, indeed.
But, yeah, so we're gonna have to do some, do things a little differently with our summaries this week.
Yeah, so we decided, basically at that point, we lost the entire episode, so we're like, either we redo it and it's not as good.
Yeah, it's
or
not funny.
We just keep going and do, like, some extra recapping.
And we decided that was the one to go with, so we've actually got a couple unfinished things.
Yeah.
From your point of view, we finished it.
Yeah, we did. We found closure, kind of.
I mean, we did skip some stuff to get there in the first place, so...
That's fine.
As much closure as is
True.
possible.
I'm not going to fully recap all of that.
What? You're not going to recap the entire drama of Avengers versus Defenders?
No. So, I will say, because Thor's going first, because it's an odd-numbered episode. We had some debate about that, but that's how it is. So, last time on the episode that you didn't hear, we first read Avengers number 118, which capped off the Avengers versus Defenders story. Both teams went to the Dark Dimension to fight Dormammu to keep Earth from being pulled fully into the Dark Dimension. There was a bunch of filler pages with S.H.I.E.L.D. and some other people. They finally found Dormammu, but he used the evil eye to incapacitate everyone except Wanda.
I will note, it was very funny that everyone was worried about killing people, and then S.H.I.E.L.D. rolls up and starts killing people.
Yeah, shooting people with guns.
Which kills people, so...
So everyone's down except Wanda, who's going for it, until Dormammu trapped her with glue rain, which is a thing, I guess.
You know, I guess Chris isn't the only one getting their fetishes in.
They said make it rain. They did.
Loki was put in a cage earlier.
As I said, Chris wasn't the only one getting their fetishes in.
Because Dormy double-crossed them, obviously. But they escaped by turning into a fly and grappled him from behind, which made him lose concentration on the glue, and Wanda was able to shoot off a hex bolt. The hex destabilized Dormammu's essence, and he got sucked into the evil eye, which then shot evil beams into Loki's face, which cured their blindness, but also drove them generically insane.
Which are all apparently things that can happen.
Well,
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure it's temporary generic insanity.
Well, the day was saved, and everyone returned to Earth, where Doctor Strange used the evil eye to fix everything, and the Defenders left to go save the Black Knight in Defenders number 11, which we did not read. Thor took charge of the helpless Loki because he knew they would not be welcome in Asgard, but then in Avengers 119, they went to the Halloween party in Rutland, and Thor decided to leave Loki with Tom Fagan for some goddamn reason, but we also didn't read that one. Because it was not important.
I'm really disappointed we didn't, though, because I really want to see how that went.
I know.
I want to see how Tom Fagan is doing.
How did Tom Fagan react to that?
He seemed fine with it. We don't really know how they're doing until Loki shows up again.
Yeah, we don't know about Tom Fagan and Loki have had a meet cute. If that was their meet cute.
Thor, this is my boyfriend, Tom.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I left you here. After saying I would take care of you, I just abandoned you here.
Good thing Tom's a good guy, right?
Yeah, so after that we read Iron Man number 66 and 67, where Thor helped Iron Man defeat Dr. Spectrum and the spirit of the outcast Skrull trapped in his power prism, which I'm not going to explain right now, so just look it up.
It's not worth it.
It's really not.
So much happened. There was a touching moment.
One of Tony's friends was injured in the battle.
I cried a little.
Ripley cried.
That's why it couldn't be saved.
Dr. Donald Blake performed surgery on him, but it wasn't going well, so Tony pulled the enervator out of his garage.
Yeah, and then it got weird.
Well, in a way that Iron Man does. This machine was built to give a patient, specifically Happy Hogan, more energy and vitality during surgery, but it has the unfortunate side effect of turning people into the Freak.
The Freak is like the Freak is the Hulk we have at home. And I want you to understand that everyone treats him like he's the Hulk we have at home.
Yeah.
When you see the Hulk, you run. When you see the Freak, you say, "Oh, look at that guy."
Hey, it's the Freak!
So Tony was like, "It's fine, I made a thing that cancels it out, but we have to plug it in on the other side of the room and don't turn it on until we need it." And that predictably did not go well. Tony's friend turned into the Freak, and Don was not able to turn into Thor because the machine exploded and trapped his cane.
Right, I remember that.
Tony wore the Freak down until the transformation wore off and carried his friend back to the operating room, where Don was able to save the man's life, with the caveat that he would be paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of his life. A very bittersweet ending, but that's what you get in Iron Man.
You never have it all, can you?
Nope.
Not if you're Tony.
No, absolutely not.
Tony already has it all. That's why he can't have more of it all.
I mean, that's true, I guess. But so, yeah, that's what you missed.
I remember none of that.
That's fine.
Except for the things I do remember.
I remember the Freak.
But, like, I didn't remember any of that unbidden.
What I remember is people just kind of pointing at the Freak, like, close, within, like,
after you mentioned
range.
it, a lot of it sounds familiar.
The Freak was running around the hospital, and people were literally just like, "Hey, look at this guy." Like, they did not care at all. Also, they were in Detroit.
Is Detroit just like that? Do people have a death wish?
Right, we were in Detroit.
Yeah.
70s Detroit?
I mean, we live in Detroit. We should know.
Yes. The answer is yes. Yes. If you see a Freak show up, you don't run.
No.
You say, "Hey, look at this Freak."
Indeed. With that all done, we're finally going to get back to Thor.
Yay!
Woo! Is he still in Detroit?
No.
He was only there for Iron Man.
Yeah.
So we can't preserve the Detroit mention.
No.
We can't even have... We can't have shit in
Well,
Detroit.
And also, it was, like, weirdly accurate for Detroit.
Yeah.
Like, the writer did the research.
Which, how do you do that kind of research?
That's true. That was really... What the f...
It was impressive,
like, just
honestly.
name-dropping obscure places none of us have ever heard of
Yeah.
that are real places. It
Right.
was weird.
The guy wasn't from Detroit. We looked it up.
He was from California.
Yes, he was from SoCal. Why did he know
I don't know. It
His
was
Wikipedia page mentions nothing about Michigan.
In the 70s. He was in California in the 70s.
His wiki entry mentions nothing about this.
So, yeah, that was weird.
Some random person at Marvel knew a lot about Detroit and inserted it into this comic.
Good.
But yeah, we're back to Thor with number 229 from August of 1974. Written by Jerry Conway, penciled by Rich Buckler, inked by Chick Stone, cover art by Ron Wilson, colored by Linda Lessman, and lettered by John Costanza.
Some of those names sound new.
Yes.
One of those names sounds new.
And some of them sound unfamiliar.
Some of them are newer, but they're not new. Linda Lessman is a new name for us. What do we know about Linda? Well, she's the wife of another comics professional, Bill Reinhold.
Women in comics.
Well, hey, she didn't take his name.
That's true.
True.
Which-
Wow, feminist hero.
Queen.
Look, it's a new decade-ish.
Ish.
I mean, that's pretty progressive. She didn't even hyphenate it.
Right.
Anyway, that's all we know about Linda.
That's all I know.
She existed?
Exists. She has
She
a
exists.
Twitter.
So
except
she's
I can't read it because I won't log in.
So she is alive.
Yes,
Okay.
presumably.
Presumably. I mean, the top thing on her Twitter might be announcing her untimely departure from this realm.
Oh no.
But I wouldn't fucking know.
I could look.
But don't.
But don't. I don't think she's dead. I think
Okay.
it's
Don't.
fine.
Look, do it. Don't do it specifically for the bit.
I see.
The second new guy, he is dead, though. But he's not till later this episode.
Oh.
Dead
Awesome.
guy incoming.
Can't wait for that. So before I get into this issue, I need to give a content warning for suicide.
Wahoo!
If that's a problem for you, you honestly might want to just skip Thor this week altogether.
Oh boy. Come back to us in the second half of the show, I guess.
Also, this cover is really nice. It's iconic insofar as anything in Thor is iconic. You know, I actually came to a realization a few weeks ago that I have a very strong upper hand in the things that we are choosing to cover.
Yeah.
Because even people who have not read any comic books know stuff about X-Men.
True.
Nobody who hasn't read classic Thor knows anything about classic Thor.
Like, I watched the old Fox cartoon back in the day. I knew about X-Men
X-Men has been all over the place for a long time.
long before I saw any of the movies.
So, like, we
or
might not know the
anything.
details, but we know
Like, I knew...
big stuff, you know? So, like, you couldn't keep the Dark Phoenix a secret from us.
Yeah.
But this season, I can keep the end a secret from you.
God.
I can keep plenty of things secret from you guys. I just can't keep the Phoenix secret.
Well, the big things, that's what I'm saying.
The
though.
problem is...
The other problem is I've run my mouth, and I've run my mouth way too much around you guys and told you shit.
But also, I am reading modern X-Men these days. So...
Don't tell me I don't know.
You've also read some modern Thor, but that doesn't really prepare you for classic Thor.
No. See, the difference between the two is classic Thor storylines live in the past.
Thor has, like... I don't want to say it has very little continuity, because there is continuity, but Thor definitely...
I call them almost eras.
Yeah, it changes very heavily.
And, like, I started at the beginning of a
I'd
new
say
one.
any comic, though, really, you have
Yeah,
eras.
It does.
I think part of that, though, is because X-Men had, like, the X-Men guy who did it for a very long time. I think that was it, basically.
The guy who was just ahead of fucking everyone.
Yeah, and I think that's just a large part, if not the main reason, why it's so different. But, Thor.
Or...
Away!
Thor is thrilled to be back on Earth, as are we all.
Thor, you were
His
on
face is-
Earth.
His face is a little scrunkly.
Is Detroit not on Earth?
We're not in Detroit. What's Detroit? Fuck Detroit.
We don't go to Detroit.
He went to Detroit.
No, we've never been there.
But he went to Detroit. Why is he so glad to be back
Why
on
would he
Earth?
do that?
The listeners
does he
didn't
want
hear
to get
that. It didn't
mugged?
happen.
Does he want to get mugged? Why would he go to Detroit? Come on, that's all that happens in Detroit. Crime and cars, right?
God.
Crime, cars, and Motown music.
He is the sworn defender of all the realms, but this one holds a special place in his heart.
Well, look at his face. Look how happy he
how
is
happy.
about
I
it.
love this place.
It honestly looks like there wasn't enough of his head to put the face on, but they wanted the whole face to be there.
But
So they
his
just kind of
arm,
squished it.
he's got friggin' Liefeld arms.
Yeah, that happens.
He kind of got Liefeld.
Yeah, it kind of seems like if you trimmed out that whole extra bottom muscle, we'd probably be good, right?
Yeah, that's why you
He
don't...
has like 3 biceps.
That's why
Where
you
is the sep? I know where the bicep is, and I know where the tricep is, but where is the sep?
don't... There!
Fuck, we found it! That's the problem! He has the sep!
I see. Well, As he soars above the skyscrapers, he revels in mankind's ingenuity and enduring spirit. While down at street level, Hercules sees only pain and misery wrought by economic disparity and social injustice.
Oh my
Good
god.
for you, Herc.
Hell yeah, Herc.
He literally says
The
that.
people's hero. He is the hero we deserve.
God damn it, I need to keep a soundboard and just keep the fucking Soviet national anthem on it at all times.
I'll buy you a soundboard for Christmas.
Okay.
He sees no reason why some should suffer while others have so much. Comrade Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, he hears a cry for help and rushes off, smashing through the front door of a run-down tenement nearby. Do you mind?
No, we're just adding
vibing.
color commentary to Comrade Hercules.
Just vibing, bro.
The Lion of Olympus runs up the stairs to find...
Ooh, who is the motherfucker who didn't color in? Oh my god, Linda, fuck off. She didn't color in his little bits of leg.
Like, a ton of people have been doing
Boo,
that. You
boo,
haven't
boo,
been
boo.
noticing, but pretty much every issue that's been happening.
Lazy and lame, don't do it.
Yeah.
Bad job, Linda.
We're talking about the spaces in between the straps on his thigh-high gladiator sandals.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed by the...
You know what?
The colorists have been very lazy, not coloring the flesh color on
I'm
his
going
legs.
to bet you anything they don't understand what he's wearing.
I mean, it could be.
Entirely
it could
possible.
So they think he is really, really rocking the thigh-high
He's just
and
wearing
short
regular
skirt.
thigh-high boots. He's not... They don't realize he's got the thigh-high rose gold.
Those fucking shoes.
I mean, he's
They're tromping across the fjord lands.
man's rocking some absolute territory out here. Are you gonna tell him no?
Oh my god, it is. It's the absolute territory. It's right there.
So the Lion of Olympus runs up the stairs to find an old man being mugged by a dude with a knife. This seems like a silly place to do that, but what do I know? I've never mugged anybody.
Right, if I was gonna mug anybody, I'd go to fucking Detroit. That's
Yeah.
what they do there.
You beat me to it.
Visit Detroit, you'll get mugged.
Or you could mug someone.
Oh.
Or both.
Easy come, easy go.
Well, this seems pretty cut and dry for Herc, but wait! The old man is saying some weird stuff. Something about not being afraid to die because he said death brings life. What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Oh, that's fun.
The thug stabs his victim before running off just as Hercules arrives. He stops to check on the old man, who continues to mutter incoherently about how he promised that he'd never die. Herc pronounces that the wound is non-fatal before going after the mugger, who apparently made the very smart move of running up to the roof.
I mean, I promise you, most cuts will be fatal eventually.
I mean, if you bleed enough, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, like, not immediately fatal.
Right.
The son of Zeus is filled with a nameless rage over such pointless violence and disregard for life. He smashes through the fire door, exploding it into scrap metal before the disbelieving eyes of the knife-wielding thief.
That's a ridiculous way to break a metal door.
Yeah.
He broke it apart.
He broke it in half.
Down the middle.
A long ways.
I'm
Hot dog style.
I'm impressed that he did that, especially since one end doesn't have a hinge.
Yeah. The mugger threatens him, but obviously doesn't stand a chance against the Prince of Power and is quickly knocked out.
Yeah, shocking. Shocking.
Hercules throws the man across his shoulders and goes back down the stairs to check on the old guy and hopefully get him some medical help. But as he enters the man's apartment, something is off. He smells gas.
Oh, shit.
The old man stands in front of the oven, door open and gas flowing freely into the room. Before Hercules can do anything to stop him, the man calmly lights a match and holds it to the stove. The explosion isn't huge, but it is enough to draw Thor's attention. He descends to the street below where firefighters struggle desperately against the blaze, and he thinks that he left Hercules somewhere around here. I guess he just dropped...
Way back before all that fucking shit happened.
I guess he just dropped Herc on a random street.
And sometimes you leave Hercules somewhere when you go to Detroit,
And then
you
you
come back.
gotta fight the fucking defenders.
He's a free-range Hercules.
And when you come back, you gotta find
He's
where
most
Hercules
definitely
is.
not grass-fed, though.
Well, yeah,
No.
I assume he was planning to go back for him. Anyway, he sees his Olympian friend exit the building while carrying the knocked-out mugger and begin talking to a very animated police detective.
He has the mugger, but not the old man?
The old man was in front of the explosion.
Well, yeah.
I don't think there's much old man
He said
left.
it wasn't a bad explosion, so I assumed that the old man just got thrown somewhere because it's a comic book.
No, it did not look like he got thrown somewhere.
No.
It looked like he took that face first. It
Yeah,
looks
but
like
he
there's...
said he would never die.
Well, the charred remains must still be alive.
He's fine.
Well, there's no time to figure out what's going on with that right now. First, Thor has to deal with the immediate threat of the fire. He stamps his hammer on the ground 2 times, summoning an instant deluge that drowns the flames. I'm not really sure this would work with an apartment fire, because the fire's, like, behind walls.
Well, yeah, but
and
he
stuff.
also can do, like, wind and shit, so he could,
Yeah.
like, make the wind whirl it in there.
Does look
Yeah.
like he's funneling water directly at the fire.
Kind of. So yeah, he takes care of it.
It's fine.
The Thunder God then goes to his friend Hercules and the detective, who introduces himself as Blumkin. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Real Blumpkin.
And says that if guys like these 2 specimens were on the force, the crooks wouldn't stand a chance.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, but they're out there doing vigilante justice because they don't need you.
I'd like to say that, yeah, I'd like to say that Herc and Thor would never be cops, but I don't think they really understand the complex socio-political issues surrounding that.
I don't know. I feel like Herc naturally understands
I don't
the
know.
inequality
Comrade
of-
Hercules.
the inequality of the power dynamic, whereas Thor, it might actually sail over his head.
Yeah.
Herc
You know,
understands. Herc
that's-
understands that there is a power imbalance
No, my
here.
comrade, we must not help the cops.
That's completely fair. So, Detective Blumkin invites the boys to a nearby cafe where he explains that the old man who blew himself up is only the latest in a string of 4 mysterious suicides. The first was a chemistry teacher at a university named Teresa Mendel. One day during class, she suddenly said, "In his hands I live. In his heart, my life goes on forever," and then set herself on fire.
So those students got passes for that semester.
I would assume.
That's what happens. That's what happens when someone
You
kills
automatically
themselves.
get an A, right? That's why I heard you get an A.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If your
yes.
teacher sets herself on fire.
Yeah,
Or
that's
in
what I
class.
always heard.
Or if one of your students commits suicide in front of you, or, you know,
Or
one
if
of
someone in your class dies, you just automatically get an A, right? That's what I always heard, right? That's true, right? No one would ever lie about that. That would be a ridiculous, stupid urban legend to tell, right?
Uh-huh. Got a little bit extreme about that one. So, he does say her body was never found, which is weird and also doesn't come up again ever.
Well, the next one has an excuse.
Yeah, so the second one was a construction worker who sat on a box of TNT and blew himself up in the middle of his work site,
Oh!
taking out the
Fuck.
entire block of conveniently empty buildings.
And the third one manages to top that.
The third one!
The third one hijacked a plane
And
by
9/11,
by shooting both pilots in the head and then crashed it into a building. We don't know what building.
they 9/11'd it. Well, no, it's not. It's not the Twin Towers.
It's not the Twin Towers, no.
You can see that it has. It's probably the Empire State Building. It's not the first time a plane hit that thing.
No, it's not.
But, yeah,
32
so...
or something.
It was in the 40s. It was like a B.
Oh.
It was like a B-17 or something.
Ooh.
So that's
It was a big
cool.
old boat.
There's no mention of any other passengers on board, but I don't have high hopes.
Well, considering that there's like, I don't know, some sort of fabric hanging, there's a passenger cabin.
This guy kind of looks like Pluto, the hijacker. Like, am I wrong?
No.
It's mostly the baldness, but, like, he's also got a stash going on, and the way his sunglasses look, he just kind of looks like Plutes.
Yeah. So the detective says that all of these have been ruled as accidents, but given that each of these people was saying some weird and slightly similar stuff beforehand, he thinks something deeper is at play.
Who ruled these things?
Humans always see a plot where none exist. I don't know, Thor. This is a
I'm
little
not sure
funky.
about that, Thor. Blumkin says he just wanted to tell the two godmen in case they felt like doing anything about it. So I guess we know how well his investigation is going.
Yeah.
He then pays for his coffee and leaves.
Bye-bye.
Thor and Hercules pause for a moment before unanimously agreeing that they must immediately do something about this. I love the way they come to this conclusion simultaneously. They are truly sharing the brain cell right now. They adjourn to an alleyway where Thor beseeches the Allfather for his wisdom and guidance. Odin appears before them as some creepy eyes in the sky and says that he can't help, but he is going to send Sif. So
Odin in the sky with diamonds.
It's been a long time.
That's cool. Sif is wearing a really dumb hat.
It's a really dumb hat, but it's better than half the shit she wears.
Yeah. I just hate her all-white armor.
I
It's
really
fucking
do.
awful.
I hate the color scheme. So much.
The lack of color scheme.
This whole thing would look fine. Even the stupid hat would look fine if everything else wasn't white.
Yeah. No, I disagree. The hat is stupid.
I think the hat
hate
would
it.
look fine if it looked like animal horns or something rather than
Maybe.
white.
Thor is, of course, overjoyed to see his lady, but Hercules finds the matter at hand to be more important and is far too impatient to wait for these two to finish their greetings.
Wow.
He runs off while proclaiming that he is going to solve the mystery and implying that Thor is ignoring it and has no honor.
He's jealous.
Well,
His boyfriend's with someone else right now.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows where he's going or what he is going to do.
I don't know, he's been just walking around New York for a while
Right.
now. Thor had the time to go fight the Defenders and go help Iron Man in Detroit since the last time.
No, it'll just be like that time with the Destroyer. Next time we see Hercules, he'll have solved the problem.
Good.
And there will be no explanation.
We won't know how he did it,
I'm down.
but maybe he just knows the streets that well.
Hercules has just
feel
got those street smarts.
He can
Well, he's been
feel
wandering around for all this time,
the
so
crime in the city.
yeah, he's become very familiar with the area. Thor is extremely offended, probably because he was still planning to do something if Hercules could just fucking wait a minute.
Comrade Hercules does not have a minute.
He picks up Sif, and the two lovebirds fly across the city. Meanwhile, Hercules has lost most of his steam and now walks alone down an empty street.
Hercules needs to grow his beard up a little bit because he's looking rough.
Yeah. His anger went away pretty much instantly, and he's feeling a touch regretful, but before he can brood on it too much, he realizes that he's being followed. He stops at a street corner and waits as the footsteps approach, then catches the stalker unawares, swiping out a hand to grab him. But all he grasps is an empty shirt.
Huh.
The Prince of Power is amazed and confounded by this. He senses sorcery most foul is afoot in this game, but before he can elaborate on that further, he is sucker punched by a guy who is completely pitch black from head to toe.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean black as in the color. He's like a living shadow with eyes.
He's pitch black. He's not black.
Okay,
Black.
so he got attacked by Venom. I get it. No, I'm sorry. Black suit Spider-Man, yes. Venom. Although he's buff enough to be Venom.
Hercules
Disagree.
surmises that this is who was following him, and he somehow slipped into the shadows when Herc attacked him, which does not explain how he left his shirt behind, but okay.
And how is he...
Are you kidding me? Sometimes Venom is the size of a fucking pickup truck. You're gonna tell me
Venom's
that man's
huge.
buff enough to be Venom?
Venom's huge.
Oh, depends on how big he's being.
You know, fair.
It's all for show.
He is sometimes smaller. Like, Agent Venom is smaller than Venom usually.
Yeah, it's all just for show. Come on, he's peacocking.
He challenges the Shadow Man.
compensating.
He challenges the Shadow Man to speak, but receives no response, and so moves immediately to the punching.
Candace just trying to get through a comic without us talking about Eddie Brock's fucking dick.
Please.
And the symbiote around it.
I would love to not talk about that.
Sorry.
Ripley just laughed himself into a coughing fit.
That's probably bodes well.
The shadow figure is strong, and his blows find purchase even against the might of Hercules. The two fight their way across the street until Herc stands next to a manhole, which is then opened by a bunch of freaky demons that drag the Olympian down into the darkness.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that Hercules said he was going to walk off and solve this himself, and he did.
Well, Hercules has found something. I wouldn't say he solved the problem, but he found something for sure.
I'd say he solved the mystery.
Of course.
I don't know. It looks like something is about to happen to him.
Look, it doesn't have to go well for him to have solved it.
A cry of despair rings up from the hole, drawing the attention of nearby residents who look out their windows to see the Shadow Man laughing silently, which is very creepy.
Weird.
The narration here says that it's nighttime, but...
his teeth are not black like the rest of him.
But as always, you cannot tell by looking at it, so I guess source, trust me, bro. Thor and Sif have apparently gone to the hospital to see Krista, who is recovered enough to be up and about.
She looks like she's out about to take a fucking rollerblade lesson.
Yes, she does.
She has put on some silly-looking armor and rushes in to thank Thor for his help. There's an annoying bit where Thor calls her lovely and Sif gets jealous. But we're not going to dwell on that because suddenly there's a noise at the door. All three Asgardians turn toward the sound just in time to see Hercules fall into the room. Thor rushes to help him up, noting that his skin is clammy and he's shaking so hard he can barely stand. He asks what it could have happened to the son of Zeus to cause such a reaction, and in response Hercules whispers 5 words before slumping to the ground. Doctors rush in to help as Krista asks what it was that he said, and Thor repeats the ominous phrase, "Where darkness dwells, dwell I," before vowing to seek vengeance upon whoever has done this.
Yeah, Krista really does look like she's ready to go rollerblading to the mall.
She does.
What the heck is that outfit?
It's bad. It's bad.
Like if it weren't for the cape.
And of course it's fucking pink. Sif also sometimes wears pink because that's the only color that we can make our women wear, except Hildegard. Hildegard is perfect.
I don't mind so much when she's wearing white with accents of pink.
Right. Like, I don't mind that. It's just like, it's always pink.
I know. Bro, I know.
So, what do you guys think of this issue?
Boring.
Really?
Not much.
Yeah.
I mean, well, there was stuff I liked.
I like Comrade Hercules.
The whole mystery was fun. Comrade Hercules was fun. The second half of the issue kind of dropped like a wet fart.
Maybe...
The shooting day for night in a comic book?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I skimmed over it, but, like, when I read this issue myself, I actually found it to be...
There's some pretty cool tense vibes and stuff I like, but all
like
the pieces
good
don't come together.
For something. Okay.
Not for me. I'm 2.5. It's not bad.
Not
it's
there
not,
yet. But
Not 3 because I like the stuff I like a decent amount.
Comrade Hercules, please become a permanent feature. Give it a 3 as well.
Okay. I also give it a 3, but a higher 3 than you guys, because I liked it.
I'm giving it a soft 3, you're giving it a hard 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it's not amazing, but it was at least more interesting than the rest of Thor has been recently.
I haven't remembered what Thor has been recently.
Exactly.
Because we've been at fucking Avengers versus Defenders for like 9 years.
We
and
went
then
to
Detroit.
Indiana.
So, let's move on to Thor number 230. From September of 1974. Written by Jerry Conway, penciled by Rich Buckler, inked by Joe Sinnott, colored by Stan Goldberg, lettered by John Costanza and Charlotte Jeter. So you might be wondering how Thor is going to find out what happened to his good buddy Hercules, given that we, the audience, do not know exactly what happened. Well, obviously he's going to carry Herc's unconscious body to Avengers Mansion to get Iron Man to use the memory inducer on him, which you would know all about if you had read Avengers number 99.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I know about it.
We're not going to get into it right now, but it seems that Tony Stark invented the memory inducer so that they could get information or something
out
from
of
Hercules
specifically. So you're telling me Tony just happens to have a machine
designed to get memories out of Hercules.
Specifically take memories from Hercules.
Yeah.
That's such a weird thing to have.
But it didn't go very well, so Thor is just kind of hoping that it works this time.
Oh, fun!
Well, I mean, Tony's probably fixed it since. He's
Or,
Ever the tinkerer.
Or he left it on the back burner, and it's just been kind of...
Do you think he would be able to live to move forward thinking about how he has failed at this?
No, I don't.
That's true.
So Iron Man's mask has a nose.
Oh god, we're in his nose era!
But
it's the nose era.
I cannot confirm or deny that this is the nose era. It might just be a weird choice in the art on this issue. I would have to check. I don't know for sure.
Feelings-wise, years-wise, it feels right.
It feels right, but I'm not, positive, so I didn't want to say something.
Oh, we remembered that Hercules has leg flesh now.
Yeah. Iron Man says that the memory inducer has been upgraded and will hopefully work this time.
See?
While Thor puts Hulk into the machine and explains the situation. Thor uses Mjolnir to power the machine and orders the other Avenger to turn the switch.
Why have you considered maybe using a more standard power source? Maybe? Maybe?
Nah.
Maybe?
No, because I'm sure it would be when they were doing surgery and they were like, oh, the machine drained all the power and now the power's out.
Oh, no.
We've drained New York of power.
Again.
Yeah. The machine hums to life, its mechanisms making a loud noise that immediately wakes up Hercules, who smashes the machinery around him while yelling that he refuses to remember what happened. As he rages, which, I don't understand why he knows he doesn't want to remember it.
Because he is being forced to remember it and wants to be not remembering it at this very moment.
A new important fact. Tony no longer has a machine to specifically extract memories out of Hercules.
True. As he rages, he begins to have a PTSD flashback where he sees hideous demons coming to attack him. Honestly, the way he acts in this issue feels a lot like a somewhat crude representation of PTSD. I don't think that was intentional, but...
Oh no, I bet it probably was.
Maybe.
I guess Comrade Hercules was too good for this world.
Jarvis appears at this extremely inopportune moment, escorting Sif and Krista. They are all startled to see Hercules rampaging through the lab, with both Thor and Iron Man trying and failing to restrain him. And now we have to talk about how Rich has decided that the opening of Herc's skirt goes directly in front. And unlike other artists, he is not shying away from drawing it coming open as he moves. Which is a strange set of choices. Leading to this panel, where it comes completely open, and while of course it's blacked out for our delicate eyes, we can only assume everyone in the room is viewing the whole situation.
Well, obviously.
It's an odd choice.
I feel like that's a constant in any Hercules fight, and they have to be very careful about what footage they run or print in the papers.
Well, because he's not wearing any underwear.
Oh no, he's freeballing it all the way.
For sure.
It's almost as bad as the Hulk situation.
Almost. It's an odd choice, and this might be a bold stance to take, but if I had done the pencils for this issue, I simply would not have drawn him like that. So.
That's because you're a coward and not that guy who drew Batman's dick.
Yeah. That's true. Anyway, Hercules is completely lost in his hallucination and absolutely berserk. But Krista approaches him, and at her gentle touch, he regains his senses before collapsing to the floor.
It's like, wow, what beauty, what grace, a woman? Hercules doth love a good wench.
He doth. He remains unconscious for about an hour, but when he awakens, he is himself again and ready to tell Thor what he knows. Jarvis brings in some tea, and Hercules begins to explain what we saw last issue, how he ran off and sensed someone was following him, how he fought the Shadow Man, and was subsequently dragged into the sewer by a bunch of demons.
I want you to know, this looks about as horny as some of the more recent Venom stuff I've read.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
that's...
I mean, maybe that tracks. We have that open skirt for a reason. We're just having a horny arc.
Yeah, this really does look about as horny as some of the shit I've seen Venom get into. And
Venom's a tentacle monster half the goddamn time.
Yes. I'm not reading him for the tentacle monster.
He's a gooey tentacle monster.
He just happens to have a lot to do with some of the other characters I've read.
Unfortunately, he still doesn't remember what happened after that, because sometimes when you go through a traumatic event, you repress the memories until something digs them back up again.
My god, I love Odin's fucking bondage guards.
Yeah, this is a horny mag. This is horny. This is gay.
Little do we know about Odin's secret membership to the Hellfire Club.
This is just gay. Like guys.
It's extremely gay where
Thor may not know what to expect. We're still talking about Thor. We haven't gotten to this yet.
Yep, we got another front slit.
Thor may not know what to expect, but he at least knows where to go now. Meanwhile, on Asgard, Hildegard is looking for Odin.
And she found his BDSM club.
Apparently, Odin locked himself up in his throne room a week ago, and nobody has been allowed in, nor has anyone seen him go out.
That's such an Odin move.
Mm-hmm.
Even when Thor asked for help, all he did was send Sif, which I would argue isn't totally out of character for him, but...
That's more in character than him actually helping would be.
Yeah, I suppose as an addition to the other stuff, it's worth mentioning. The guards at the front door won't let her in, so she goes around to the back door, where two more very similar-looking guards also will not let her in.
Seriously, Odin, why are you setting up your own personal BDSM club?
Their outfits are bizarre.
It's a gay BDSM club. That's why she's not allowed in.
Well, okay,
not
that's
part of the preferred
fair.
clientele.
This is the leather scene. Being gay in a club meant the leather scene. So...
It's bizarre. I mean, we all know that Asgardians don't look Norse, but these especially do not look Norse.
They look like they belong in New York.
They look horny.
They look like they belong in New York.
At the Hellfire Club.
This guy's wearing like a full gimp mask.
He really fucking is. It's wild.
This is almost as horny as the stuff Claremont is responsible for.
I don't know about that, but it's pretty horny. We've had a good amount of horniness this issue.
And way more gay.
But... we all know that Odin's guards are absolute chumps, so she knocks them both out with one punch and proceeds on her merry way. She pauses to bow and apologize before looking around her, which says a lot about the kind of person Odin is, I think. But when she stands, she is shocked to find the throne room deserted. Odin is nowhere to be seen. So Hildy, being the absolute genius that she is, decides to walk around the entire palace and check every single room to look for him. I love her so much.
She's so great. She is a bimbo, but without all the insulting. So she's a female himbo, is what she is. She's not a bimbo. She's a female himbo.
You can be a himbo and a woman.
I think
she's
himbo...
she's a shimbo.
Himbo transcends gender. After spending hours searching every floor of the building, Hildy makes her way to the deepest dungeon where she finds Seth the Vizier. If anyone knows where Odin is, it would be him. So maybe she should have come here first.
Well, it's always the last place you look.
Seth is standing over a crystal ball, watching Thor's current misadventures.
Someone has to.
He has a new fit this issue, and it's sleeveless.
Oh.
Which is how we find out this shriveled old wizard man has guns for days.
Well, yeah, of course he does. Odin wouldn't surround himself with anyone but the most manliest men in the realm. So no wonder we never see his mother. Thor's mother.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have much information for Hildy, only confirming that Odin has vanished and he doesn't know where he is.
Oh, he's not gay, he's just a bachelor.
Yeah.
A committed bachelor.
A committed bachelor.
So, that's maybe bad. Thor and Herc have found the manhole and begin to descend into the sewers. Don't make a manhole joke. I will kill you.
I wasn't gonna kill you.
John made a fucking noise, and I knew that they were thinking it.
I wasn't gonna until you said it.
Hercules is terrified to be back here, but Thor says, no dream or memory alone is enough to break a man.
Oh shit,
so,
Bugman.
Phew, I guess we don't have anything to worry about now that Thor fixed it.
There's nothing terrible down here at all.
My brain has rearranged itself and I'm no longer mentally ill.
Good.
Yeah, Herc calls him out on that horse shit just before a swirling shadow appears before them. Mothman.
He's got 6 legs.
Mothman doesn't live here.
I mean, Jersey's just across the fucking way.
Yeah, I guess. He can just... I guess
he does have fucking wings!
The Odinson takes a swing at it, but the shade disperses and he hits only lifeless rock. He wonders at how the demon could so easily appear and disappear before coming to the conclusion that they were never actually there. Hercules is like, yeah, talk shit now, idiot. They proceed forward until they see another conglomeration of shadowy monsters, a messy tangle of limbs and glowing eyes. Yet on further inspection, the figure disappears just as it did before. Behind them, however, are real demons, which quickly dogpile onto Hercules, just as Thor is giving a rousing speech and getting ready to press on.
Oh, God. Poor Hercules.
I know.
Not the manhole he was looking for.
He's been through so much. Shut up. Thor turns to find them under attack by a horde of monsters. Luckily, these ones are weak and easily defeated, says Hercules, not the true threat. They're nothing compared to he who dwells in darkness. Yet the demons have an advantage in numbers and quickly overwhelm Thor, knocking him to the ground. Seeing this seems to flip a switch in Herc's brain, or a trigger, if you will, as he suddenly remembers everything and turns to flee. He knows that he can't destroy them physically, so his attack is not physical. Instead, he overwhelms them and causes them to despair, and once they despair, he will conquer and claim their souls.
Huh.
Okay.
But Hercules declares with all his might that this must not be.
Hell yeah.
Finding a place where the tunnel slopes down toward the floor, he braces himself and pushes against the ceiling with all his might. Doing this somehow creates a perfectly round plug of concrete that shoots up into the air. Okay?
I'm not sure cities work like that, Herc.
They don't.
So. Thor is struggling alone, calling for Hercules to aid him as water rushes in from somewhere.
I didn't see water above them. I guess they must have hit a main.
Yeah, they probably broke a water pipe on the way up.
Oh, hopefully that's an in, not an out.
Well, it does look like water.
It looks like water, not poop. For a moment, he very nearly feels hopeless, but then the light of day shines into the cavern and the demons retreat. Hercules explains that he remembers now that he dwells in darkness and feeds on despair. He brings Thor into a side chamber where the light doesn't reach, and once again they see the strange shadow on the cave wall. Thor takes a swing, but nothing is there. He touches, but finds only cold stone. Hercules explains that this is because he was actually fear the whole time, and he dwells in all of us, waiting to escape. But because they didn't give in to despair, they defeated him for now, that they may not be so lucky next time.
Man, I was just about ready to give this thing a 3.5 until the last fucking page.
Oh, that sucked.
It sucks so bad, and also it doesn't explain what was going on at
Where are the demons coming
close!
from?
You were so close!
Where are the demons coming from? How is this shadow entity...
Gerald, every time I feel fucking hope in you, you fucking dash it upon the rocks.
How is this shadow entity affecting these people's minds who have never been down here to see it?
Why are they committing suicide in his name?
What are they afraid of?
If he's non-corporeal, then what was the shadow man that beat up Hercules?
In the middle of the street where it wasn't dark.
In the middle of the street.
Well, no, my bad. It was dark.
It was nighttime.
It was nighttime.
In quotes.
They shot day for night. Look, sometimes you have to do that in New York.
And I just, this explains nothing. This explains nothing. Once again, it feels like they thought of the setup and then didn't bother to think of the end until, the last minute.
God damn it, stop stealing from J.J. Abrams.
I was so ready to give this at least a 3.5. I was there. I was ready. And
then it's a shadow on the wall.
One fucking page.
Uh-huh.
One fucking page. 2 stars. Bullshit.
Yeah.
The logic, the internal logic is so goddamn stupid.
Yeah.
That was...
Honestly, I would give it a 1.5.
That was lame. That was really lame. Why?
It sucks.
You could have. You should have just spun it out another fucking issue, man, and then just had an actual decent ending.
I could have had a real.
Joy! Whoever this is, a specter.
Oh,
from the
past.
past.
It's a caveman.
So
it's Man Monster versus Thunder God.
In which Thor takes on a Neanderthal.
Featuring the sensational return of the most unexpected character of all.
Correct.
A specter from the past.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's my turn to read the fun blurbs on the cover.
That's fine. So yeah, we're gonna read Thor number 231 from October of 1974. Written by Jerry Conway, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Dick Giordano, covered by Gil Kane, colored by Petra Scatesi, and lettered by John Costanza.
That's more of our usual squad.
Dick Giordano is our last new name this episode. He honestly deserves a much better summary than what I've got here, but I was kind of rushed on this week's episode getting things together. He spent most of his career over at DC, but hella people cited all his essays and talks about creators' rights during that whole movement. He was a big inspiration on that, from what I understand. I looked on the Wikipedia, there's like 5 different places of people citing his fucking work, so...
Nice.
It's well respected.
Is he the guy who's dead?
Dick is dead, yeah. Dick died in 2010 of cancer.
Shame.
Yeah.
We're eating leftover Halloween candy.
Yeah.
Because Ripley wanted to get candy in case we got any trick-or-treaters, but we did not get any, so...
We did not. We got none. Look, I didn't want to be the person who, if they knocked, there was none.
I understand.
And I loved Halloween as a kid.
I know. For as long as we've lived together, we've wanted to hand out candy on Halloween, but we never live in a place where they trick-or-treat at, so...
Yeah, I used to do that all... God, I didn't do my routine this year. I didn't do my ritual. Mm-hmm. Every year I listen to the War of the Worlds radio broadcast. I used to do that back when I was in high school. I'd hand out candy. I'd sit out on the porch and I'd just, like, listen to the War of the Worlds radio broadcast on my boombox while I was handing out candy. And that was just, like, my whole Thanksgiving. My whole Halloween thing.
No, we can do it on Thanksgiving.
I didn't do it this year. I'm so annoyed with myself. I forgot to listen to it.
I guess you can still listen to it, but it's a little hard to...
I know, but it's not the same.
So anyway, sorry about that random tangent in the middle of introducing this
Who cares?
issue.
It's our show.
It's true. So having proven that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself...
And spiders...
Hercules holds onto Thor's feet as they fly up out of the hole that they made to defeat the demons.
Perfectly circular hole.
It seems a lot bigger than it was last time.
We're just continuing from the Nothing Burger that...
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also in the middle of a busy street and perfectly round, as I said.
So you did hit a water main.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Comrade Herc. For shame.
Look, just because he's Comrade Hercules doesn't mean he knows anything about infrastructure.
No, that's not true. He's Greek. They had aqueducts.
Actually, no. This is New York. He might have hit a river.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it turns out New York has a ton of rivers going under it because it had a ton of rivers going through it, and...
They've paved over it.
Yep. So now they're just like friggin' aqueducts.
Live underground.
Yeah, the rivers live literally underground. It's
New York is fucking wild. I want to see a sandwich of the place.
New York is also sinking. So, you know.
Oh, don't worry. They'll fix that.
So they touch down on the sidewalk and are approached once more by Detective Blumkin, who looks different from how I remember.
He does. When did he put on like 40 pounds?
He was stress eating, man. This whole thing has been a very upsetting.
It was a day. This is the same. This is like the next day.
It's been like a couple hours. But he congratulates them on a job well done.
What did they do?
Something. Apparently the cops were holding several more people who were saying the weird stuff about how he promised life and death or what the fuck ever. But as soon as the God Boys went down to the sewer and started fucking shit up, they all snapped out of it and went back to normal. So, something happened.
Nobody explains how that has to do with fear.
No, something, yeah. Yeah, what the fuck was that about?
I don't know. What is...
I hate this fucking story. It has soured me so much right now.
It's really bad.
Gerald, every time I give you a chance. So, why should I ever give you a chance again? Because you always fuck it up, Gerald.
So...
It's not like I'm mad at my husband.
I mean, I will give him credit for one thing. If this was Stan, it would be fucked up the same way it's always fucked up. Because Stan only knows how to fuck things up like 5 ways.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Odin would have solved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, okay.
He only has like 5 ways to end a story, and at least Jerry comes up with new ones.
The detective, or Ralph, as he informs the boys.
Oh, he's Ralph Blumpkin.
Ralph
Detective
Blumpkin.
Ralph Blumpkin.
Yeah.
Detective Sergeant Ralph
Sergeant
Blumpkin.
Oh my god.
Then ask them if they wouldn't mind fixing the big-ass hole they made in the road.
Well, hey, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Would, but can't. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Teamsters would have something to say about this. So,
Well,
the Union Boys, I don't know, maybe it's not the Teamsters. The Union Boys, we're not allowed. Can't touch it.
Herc and Thor don't know anything about that. So, of course, they do this. And it's honestly like a really big stupid production that I don't feel like going into.
No, we need to get into this.
They
What?
just find the big stupid rod of street that they burst out. And
they do.
they put
find
it
that.
back.
Yonder lies the divot of concrete thou didst force from the ground.
Yeah, they find the plug that Hercules pushed out of the solid fucking ground. And they put it back in the hole, and it's fine. But it takes 2 pages to do that.
and it's stable and everything's fine.
Everything's fine. All the pipes and everything went back where they needed to go.
They definitely went back exactly it went in exactly
Somebody
the way.
tell the boys at the union that they need to start striking because they're letting this shit happen.
The city's not paying union rates for this.
After they do that, they start to leave, but Blumpkin stops them again. He says that one of the people who attempted suicide has been asking for Thor specifically. A young lady at the hospital named Jane Foster.
Yo!
Oh no.
John almost choked.
Oh no.
Hearing that seems to completely change Thor as he seizes the detective and demands to know where she is. After Ralph informs him that she's in Midtown Hospital, he tosses the man to Hercules and takes to the skies.
You didn't need to shove Detective Blumpkin.
Entering the hospital, he brusquely demands Jane's room number from the receptionist and storms off in that direction.
Okay, real quick. Why does New York look like this? What's going on with the coloring?
What is with Legoland, New York?
Good question. As he walks, he reminisces, and we get a recap of everything that happened with Jane. Petrus Gitezi has decided that Jane is blonde, and has always been blonde, which is news to me.
Well, you know, she's blonde except for the times when she's been brunette or a redhead, or had black hair.
It's hair dye.
But we all know what happened. Jane was Dr. Donald Blake's nurse who fell in love with him, and he fell in love with her but couldn't be with her because Odin would not allow Thor to marry a mortal.
Because he's an asshole.
Thor,
You make him into a mortal, he falls in love with a mortal, but you don't allow him to marry the mortal. What the fuck?
Thor kept asking until finally Odin let Jane undergo a trial to prove she could become a god, but she failed because it was kind of rigged, so she got sent back to Earth and had her mind wiped. Thor kind of moved on and hooked up with Sif almost immediately, but clearly he never forgot about Jane or really fell out of love with her, judging by how he's acting now.
Yeah.
And now she's in a hospital.
Honestly, I don't feel like his heart's ever been in it as much with Sif as it was with Jane.
No.
Not really.
No. She's the rebound girl. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, he loves her. I just don't think he loves her anywhere near as much. It's just not there, man.
You gotta feel bad for her, man.
It feels bad, man.
Let's be real. One call from Jane and Sif's...
I mean, the way that he immediately rebounded always felt icky.
Girl, you're being used. Leave him. You can do better. I know he's Thor, but he doesn't feel the way you want him to.
He's not doing it on purpose, but he doesn't feel the way you feel.
You can do better. You can find someone who will return those feelings.
After all these years...
Years?
Yep, it's been years. Now she is here and has been asking for him. He arrives at her room to find her sleeping soundly, and he takes her hand in a gentle gesture of devotion.
Jerry, you can't hook me like this.
Don't worry. 2 days later, in a different place, something else is happening.
What? What the fuck? Jerry, what? Why?
Gerald?
I am going to travel through time, through this comic, and ask you what the fuck you did here.
Gerald Conway.
Some rich family is paying a fake psychic and her son a fortune to perform a seance to summon their dead son's spirit.
Now hold on, this is a world where you can have real psychics.
But we know she's fake because she has a projector under the table, and she and her son Arnold clearly have some kind of act set up where she pretends to summon the spirit and he pretends to be possessed by the spirit. Like they're whispering about it.
Yeah, but this is a world where there can be real psychics.
But she's not.
She's not.
So I guess she's taking money away from those good, hardworking, real psychics.
God.
Yeah.
On top of taking money away from this poor fucking family.
This grieving family.
Yeah, who could have gone to a real psychic who could have really raised the soul of their dead family member
To wish him goodbye.
Yep. So all's going
Or
well.
like a necromancer, because I'm sure necromancers are real too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they're real. Come on. Look, it's all real.
Just get a necromancer.
We got Thor, we got Hercules, it's all real. Come on. Come on.
All is going well for them until suddenly Arnold is actually seized by the spirit of something. He begins to change, his hair growing and his face malforming, his limbs growing into sinewy muscle as he takes the form of some caveman-looking guy.
I don't think this is how it was supposed to work.
No.
I live!
He thrashes around, destroying the table, then grabs the rich couple's daughter and jumps through the wall, while declaring himself Armac, first and strongest man ever born.
Hulk would like to have a word about that second part.
Well, Hulk is not strongest man ever born. Hulk is strongest there is.
True.
Yeah.
I suppose he would just want to establish the pecking order.
Meanwhile, in the story that we care about, Sif and Krista check in on Thor, who has been standing vigil at Jane's bedside for these past 2 days, as she has yet to awaken. You've got to imagine how hard this is for Sif. Of course she knew Thor loved Jane, but now she's seeing just how deep that devotion runs, and rather than being jealous, she actually feels moved. She feels that this woman cannot die, and also she has a new bad hat.
Oh.
It looks like a yarmulke.
It does look like it, doesn't it?
Except women don't normally wear those?
Yeah, I know.
I know.
She just dropped by a store and picked one up because she
Yeah.
thought it looked cute.
That's, they don't usually sell those in... I mean, it is New York, so you can go to a store.
It's called the yarmulke store.
No, I assure you it's not.
So Sif goes to talk to the doctor, who says that while Jane's suicide attempt was not immediately successful, whatever she did managed to fuck her up so bad that she's still slowly dying.
Suicide attempt?
Yes.
Yeah, she was one of these people.
Ah.
She was one of the people controlled by the fear or
That didn't
whatever.
register.
Yeah. So I'm assuming she overdosed or something, because it's never explained exactly what happened to her, and I think poisoning is a good explanation, because the doctor's making it sound like because they were dealing with so many attempted suicides, they couldn't get to her in time to completely stop what was happening, but only delay it. Maybe? Whatever. He says that she has a week or maybe 2, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Ew.
Sif is not willing to accept this, so she uses...
Yeah, because that seems like a bizarre fucking...
Right?
I don't know, maybe
That's
she
off.
destroyed her liver.
No, that's off. That's off. That's all off.
I mean...
A week or 2?
Do you think...
A week or 2 is a long time for someone to die.
I'm
It is.
sorry, are you expecting Jerry to know something about medical
I'm not expecting
stuff?
Jerry to know shit right now. I'm mad at Jerry.
Exactly. So deal with it. That's how it is.
She's
Yeah,
got
it's
she's
bad.
got a mysterious illness
Yeah.
that's going to kill her in a week or 2.
So Sif uses her teleportation powers, that we always forget about, to go back to Asgard, appearing on the Bifrost before Heimdall. She calls Heimdall her friend, but we know he is her brother, so that's weird.
Well, maybe they are siblings that are actually friends.
I mean, yeah. Our Lady Sif proceeds on to the palace, where the guards just let her in without asking questions, which she finds odd.
Hildegard is hot.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry.
She's built.
I'm just looking at her and she's like, damn, girl.
She finds someone standing in the throne room, and thinking it's Odin, she calls out to them. But it's Hildegard, who informs her that Odin has vanished. Back on Earth, Hercules is taking a stroll through the city again.
It always goes so well. Well, then again, one of the last times he took a stroll through the city, he found the guy he needed to find.
Comrade Hercules surveys the city.
I love that he was just in Olympus until Thor picked him up to go save Krista, and now he's just hanging out, waiting for more adventures.
Well, that's what he does.
Apparently, earlier this very same day, he had an adventure with Spider-Man in Marvel Team Up number 28. Like the narration says, that happened this morning, which is kind of fun.
Does it say anything about what happened on it?
No. Just that it happened this morning.
Alright, so there's no way I remember what one it is without a little bit of a clue.
There's so much Marvel Team Up with Spider-Man.
Yes.
He had
it
fun
really
with
needs
Spider-Man.
to have been called Spider-Man Team Up, because I can think of like 2 issues of that series that weren't Spider-Man teaming up with someone.
So when a commotion breaks out and some people come running past, Herc is ready and raring to go.
He? I know a he. It was horrible.
Armak rounds the corner with the woman that he kidnapped. He demands that the men of this world come forth and fight him to prove their worth.
Wow.
And Hercules is happy to accept that challenge.
Yeah, asked and answered.
Striding forth to give the beast a solid right hook while admonishing him for endangering a fair maiden. I guess Herc must be tired from whatever he was doing with Spider-Man because he gets wharfed immediately.
Oof.
Not that this is unusual for him at this point.
No, but I'm so glad to see him, even if he's just kind of showing up and getting wharfed over and over again.
It's true.
Well, the problem is, Thor's around.
Yeah.
Thor's the title character, that's the problem.
Title character, yes. Across town at the hospital, Krista happens to hear a news bulletin about this fight. Isn't it convenient how often there is a radio or TV on to tell the characters what's happening?
Okay, but whenever you go to a hospital...
Yeah, it's corny, but I can accept it in this instance.
There's usually something on.
Unlike that time... this is in the last episode, but that time that Happy and Pepper were having an argument, and then the radio was just on in the middle of their fucking argument. Anyway, the young lady rushes back to tell Thor that he has to go help Hercules. But the Odinson is completely lost in grief and refuses to leave Jane's side. Krista, who feels some sort of bond with both of the boys after they saved her, slaps Thor out of his stupor and yells at him because he's being an idiot. Finally, Thor agrees to go help his friend, but it's clear that he's not happy about it.
Well, he's only doing it because he's Thor, God of Thunder, so not because he wants to.
Maybe it's just Quabby he got swapped by a ghoul.
Armak is rampaging through Times Square, and the NYPD is completely failing to stop him.
They are shooting at him, though.
They are, and it's doing nothing.
I wonder how many people they've shot by accident.
Right.
You ever heard about that, I may have told you about this, but there was this incident where there was a giant oil spill, and the Brits, they were trying to figure out how to deal with this big oil spill, and they decided that they were just going to have the military deal with it.
What?
So they decided to start bombing and shooting at this fucking oil spill. The oil is still everywhere. The British Army lost a fight with an oil spill.
Okay.
Anyway,
Why?
this just makes me think of this.
I see.
Because we're just going to shoot at him. It's not working, but we're going to continue to do it because maybe eventually it will work.
Okay.
Kapow.
Thor arrives in time to find Hercules recovering, but tells his friend to hang back because he's already worn out and needs time to rest. He then punches Armak so hard that he drops the girl he was carrying, who falls directly into Herc's waiting arms, where she begins to explain what happened. Thor and Armak start fighting. Armak says he's the first man and the strongest man. He throws a car, which Thor smashes. So their fight is actually very rough and brutal looking, just hitting each other with bare knuckles and wildly flailing. This is highly unusual for Thor, who's generally somewhat restrained and calculating in combat, at least. It's like the one thing that he's really smart about, generally, but...
Sorry, folks. The sounds you hear are Ripley looking up the story about the oil fire.
Yup.
But this is just a primal brawl as they crash into a construction site and fight their way onto a freight elevator.
Which they set off.
Armak then accidentally activates. Because why not? Hercules returns to the scene with Madame Cynthia, the fake psychic. The girl from before, who does not have a name, urges her to speak to her son, and Herc commandeers a bullhorn from a nearby police officer. The woman calls out to Arnold, begging him to stop and listen, and for a moment he does pause, scanning the crowd below. In that fatal moment, Thor throws him from the elevator, and he falls several stories to his death.
Oh.
Oh?
Nice.
Okay.
That's fucking terrible in front of his goddamn mother.
After he lands, Armak fades, leaving only Arnold, who reaches toward the unnamed girl for a brief moment before breathing his last. Hercules comforts the girl, but his attention is elsewhere. He wonders what Armak was, where he came from, and exactly how Arnold changed into him. I would also like to know those things.
Do we ever find out?
I don't know. Probably not. He looks to the skies and sees Thor flying away without a word, heading straight back toward the hospital.
Jerry.
Gerald, I'm so done with you right now.
You gave us an interesting story, and you ripped it away because this guy showed up.
Right, and then we have this, which was an entirely bleh story, and then this ending, which is nice, but like, what the fuck? I don't know, this is all kind of poignant to me. Ish. It's poignant by the standards of this episode.
Is Jane Foster still alive? Well, maybe if we never left her, we would know. And it's not like this guy... Look, come on, guys. Get the Avengers out for this guy. I'm sure... Or somebody. Spider-Man. I'm sure he's up for a few rounds against some meat man.
So, yeah, that's Armak, the first man. The most iconic Thor villain ever to exist.
Wait. I was trying to figure out who the long-lost return was, and I remembered.
It was Jane.
It was Jane.
Yeah.
2, I guess.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
I'm so done right now.
Fair enough. And that's all I have, so...
Woo!
That was fun.
How much Jerry do we have left?
Let me look.
Well, I'm gonna bring you guys back up, I can tell you that. So I got a good one.
Yeah, you do.
I do. That's why when we were deciding which way to go, I was like, oh, this is a good story and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
If we have the choice to have me end with a good story versus lead with a good story.
We have 7 issues of Jerry left.
That's not too bad.
Who follows
That's 2
him?
episodes,
Roy Thomas.
right?
I know that name.
Roy could be good or could be bad. Roy can be your angel or your devil.
Let me just make sure I counted that right.
Oh, no.
1, 2,
The first time around with Roy, we ended up with such gems as the Locust.
Yeah, it is 7.
The second time around, we ended up with such masterpieces as the time they fought Larry. I see that silly, but I really liked that story, actually. The one where they fought Larry. Larry Trask. Anyway, we've got you here in the middle, so while we've got you here, why don't you like, subscribe, hit the bell button, let us know down below what you thought of those stories, because I thought they were doo-doo.
And tell us what you thought about our lost episode.
Yeah, tell us how sad you are. I'm actually really disappointed that it ended up that way, but hey, I guess some things are just too good to be heard. But maybe you know how to uncorrupt an Audacity file. If you do, like, successfully,
Right.
let me know. I'll send you the 2 and something gigs of that. Anyway, we're also over on Tumblr, Jeter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Derek Jeter, yes. We're very into baseball.
Tell your friends, tell your boss, tell your enemies, tell your coworker, tell anybody.
Didn't we get a Blue Sky invite?
Oh, we did get a Blue Sky invite. We haven't set it up yet. John, can you set that up? Because we do have a Blue Sky invite.
I can try.
Yay!
I've never set up a Blue Sky before.
Neither have I, but we have an invite code, so you can catch us on Blue Sky once we figure that out.
Link may be down in the bottom.
Maybe.
Depending on
Everything.
how ugly Blue Sky is. I don't know. That's
Anyway,
one more thing to maintain.
On to the next half of the show.
Woo!
Alright, so before I say anything, this is a hella iconic cover referenced by fucking everything under the sun.
That we didn't recognize.
No.
Yeah, so you didn't recognize it. I think that, we're finally back on the train, though hopefully this time to less catastrophic ends.
Is this the first time Wolverine has white hair.
Yes, Wolverine does.
I'm just... Look, I have seen so far past
I don't know,
stuff
have you
from
never
this era.
you've seen Old Man Logan? Old Man
I
Logan
have.
has white hair.
I know, but that's Old Man Logan. This isn't him.
Well, since we lost our last episode, we're going to have to do a little more coherent outline of the episode, so... They started off in the danger room when Kurt got sloppy and fucked the entire training session up. Working as a team, though, the rest of the X-Men managed to save their friend. Kitty got a codename Sprite, which will absolutely stay consistent and is the reason why we all know and love Sprite.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, it's definitely the name we know her as.
I thought there was a different X-Men named Sprite, honestly.
With the, no, there's one called Pixie, I think is who you might be thinking of.
Okay, probably.
With the fun out of the way, Logan tells Charles he wants to bury the hatchet with Captain Canada and the Canadian government, and Chuck tells him to bring a friend, so he brings Kurt along with. Meanwhile, Charles has found Kitty a dance teacher in town. When Jimbo Mac's wife Heather comes home, she's first frightened and then delighted to see Wolverine in her kitchen because there's a first for fucking everything.
Delightened.
She then lets him know her husband has been sent up to Hudson Bay for important Alpha Flight business, so Logan picks up a rental car and heads north. Unfortunately for Alpha Flight, they're at half their fighting force because of politics, so they're glad to see Logan and Kurt, or glad as they're capable of being, given that it's them. And after leaving Kurt's pants drenched in Scheisse, they explain what's up. The Wendigo attacked a Mountie and his family, and they're trying to find the family before they die because the Mountie is, like, mega dead. Kurt goes outside to cry about Jean, and then gets attacked by the Wendigo, hereafter referred to as Wendy. Next, a whole lot of nothing happened with the X-Men, and Alpha Flight Plus 2 keep brawling with Wendy. At one point, they almost have it down, but make their mistake of turning their back on the body.
Yep.
Never turn your back on the body. With Wolverine down, Snowbird had to be the one to take it down, and so she turned into a white Wolverine, as opposed to the normal kind, then almost lost herself to the beast before Logan talked her back down.
As in the animal, not the man.
Shaman's magic finally turned Wendy back into rando Canadian Georges Baptiste once more. Wolverine can consider his debt settled with the Canadian government, and Alpha Flight has now been disbanded because they're just too expensive.
I mean, if I remember the order of operations here, Alpha Flight was basically already disbanded before Wolverine got his pardon from Alpha Flight, so he may or may not be cool.
Yeah, but he did mention it, I think, to Trudeau at the end, so... And it was without any pushback on it, so I think we can say the beef is quashed for now.
Yes, the Canadian government will never come for him ever again.
Never, ever, ever.
That sounds right.
We're starting off with X-Men 141, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Byrne, inked by Terry Austin, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski. Once upon a time, New York City was a nice place. That was before the dark times. The 70s.
No. This is New York. The 80s. Come on. The 80s are the dark time.
Look at that title.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
That's really good.
But just for the record, the 80s really were a dark time in New York.
Welcome to the 21st century, folks. Feels like home.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yep.
Disease, war, even worse, financial inequality.
Kate Pryde staggers her way through the dystopian wasteland of Park Avenue. Not our dystopian Park Avenue. Think more Escape from New York or Fallout.
Or Escape from L.A.
Or the sequel. Holding a bulky first aid kit under her arm. God, no, I gotta stop, because one of my favorite things I've ever seen in a movie was from Escape from L.A., where the Duke of L.A. shows up and he's just got fucking chandeliers mounted on top of his car.
Oh my god.
You can't mention the absolute classic Escape from New York without bringing up the disaster piece Escape from L.A. is.
God, it's wonderful.
I don't think it was intended to be what it was. I think they really wanted to make a sequel of Escape from New York, but...
It's so good. Holding a bulky first aid kit under her arm, Kate's looking for Logan, who swore he would meet her here. It's not exactly a safe part of town. It's not Sentinel territory. It's controlled by a gang of rogues, so again, Escape from New York appropriate.
When did Escape from New York come out?
After this.
Damn!
Wolvie picked the place because Sentinels wouldn't think to look for them here. It all seems to be going well before Kate takes one wrong step and the giant trapdoor she's walking atop tips, dumping her down into some kind of underground lair occupied by 3 of these rogues. See who we have. We have Groundskeeper Willie, a lost member of the Village People, and Slash from Guns N' Roses.
Incredible.
Yeah.
She tries to warn them back, claiming to be on Sentinel business, but that doesn't really buy her any favor with these jerks because they don't like the Sentinels either. They're just also racists.
Wow.
So they've already got bad intentions for Pride when she kicks Village People in the tummy so hard he cries.
You know, this is what they're talking about when they talk about conflict in the leftist community.
Oh, God.
And that's it. He wants blood. Only to find Wolverine came in behind him and took out Groundskeeper Willie and Slash while he was busy getting his tummy hurted.
Well, he wanted blood.
Rest in pieces.
He got blood, just, not the blood he wanted.
Big Alex, the man formerly known as Village People, is none too happy about that because no one gives Big Alex orders on his turf!
It's not his turf anymore, my guy.
He draws a knife on Logan, apparently having decided he wants some of what The Rock is cooking because it smells so good. He then gets clotheslined and knocked the fuck out, lucky that Logan didn't want to leave any trace of his presence for the Sentinels to find.
God.
Midnight tonight and hopefully she'll be free, because there's a world to save. The moment the Sentinels decide to take this show on the road, the Brits are gonna nuke the country, so, no pressure on the mission, right?
So some fascist has turned the country into a self-centered, horribly focused, nightmarish police state. I wonder who that fascist might be.
What did I just do?
You just threw your mouse.
Yes, because I made a comparison that was a little too close to reality. And could be again. Given some of the polls I've seen.
Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. We got fucking year. I don't want to hear about fucking
It's
polls.
fine. We're having fun reading comic books.
That has no bearing on reality.
Kate then catches a horse-drawn bus carriage uptown.
Wow.
The M on her jumpsuit drawing dirty looks from all the humans on the bus. They all have to wear letters too, but you know.
So everyone has to be... wow. Wow.
Yeah.
They've got lots of room to look down on her from their lofty apocalypse rune.
Right.
Because they're at the top of this new caste system, followed by the anomalous humans whose genes are too stinky to allow them to breed, and down at the bottom, the mutants. Kitty explains to the sentinel manning the gate of the South Bronx Mutant Internment Center that she's only late because she was attacked by rogues, which the Sentinel does buy, allowing Kitty pass to show the fate of most of those condemned to the mutant caste.
Wait, that thing read her mind?
Yes.
Oh shit.
If you want, I can zoom in on the headstones, but if not, I picked out most of the legible names.
Oh god.
I gotta do it this way, though, because it doesn't work right anymore.
Marvel Unlimited just doesn't fucking work anymore.
So, the entirety of the Fantastic Four are dead.
Cool.
All of the original X-Men are dead, including Charles and Lorna, but not Jean, who is already dead.
Yeah.
Kurt is dead. Spider-Man is dead. And I'm not actually sure what this says down here, but I think those bitches killed Mary Poppins!
Are you telling me Mary Poppins is buried there?
I mean, look...
It definitely looks like there's some peas.
It looks like it says Mary Poppins, man.
Incredible.
Past the cemetery, Kitty meets up with what's left of the X-Men. Aurora, Piotr, Franklin Richards, and his girlfriend Rachel. They're apparently in on the plan so far, so Kate only has to give them updates. Logan strikes at midnight and the job needs to be done by then. That's when, fashionably late, of course, the last member of their party wheels up to the group because of all the people the Sentinels have kept alive, Magneto.
For some reason.
Wow.
Seems like you'd be enemy number one.
I
right?
know, but look at him. He looks so much like a man who would play him.
Right? Perfect.
Like, wow.
Dead on.
Casting of that. I never appreciated the casting of the Fox X-Men movies until now.
He's certain as ever it's time to save the world.
And of course, he's in the chair because we're supposed to be fooled by the head fake.
No, we're not fooled by the head fake. Charles is clearly dead.
I know, but...
Maybe if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
You might not be.
Fair enough. With a moment to pump up Rach, all that's left is a moment between man and wife, as the Pride Rasputins have themselves one last time off to the side. Pyotr is worried about this plan. They're gonna do something to muck with the fabric of reality to the point that Pete wonders if it might not erase their present, including their love. Kate reminds him that billions of people will die if nukes start flying, and a better future for them and their family? Or the opportunity to have a family without it being cruelly ripped away like it was.
I know how that story ends on the other end.
I know we need to move past it, but I just cannot deal with this ship.
Well, I have bad news.
I know.
Again, I know how this ends on the other end of things.
So it does end eventually.
It does end, but the thing is it's going to continue.
For decades.
Yeah, true. They then embrace and face the future. Franklin must have picked up some of Dad's smarts, because in the other room he's hard at work building a jammer to kill their inhibitor collars. Once everything is ready, Kate lies down on a mat on the floor, Rachel sitting at her head, fingertips pressing against her scalp. After some meditative breathing, Sprite is cast out from her body as her mind is cast across time. It's Halloween!
Ooh!
Or in Chris's broken little brain, the Friday before Election Day! We haven't touched on that at all, apart from Kelly's hissy fit at the Hellfire Club, which was the most eventful thing that happened that issue. So I guess it's time to come back and pull that thread. The X-Men aren't paying much mind to politics or Halloween. Sure, they're in costume, but it's just because they're hard at work training in the Danger Room. That is, until Kitty walks in to pass along a message from Kurt. They aren't too particularly happy to see her, because the Danger Room is active and... dangerous. It's dangerous.
Wow, really?
I was under the impression that of all the people in there, she could be the safest.
For those listening at home, Ripley leaned into their screen to make sure that they had read it correctly before saying that. Visual gag does not translate well.
Well, it might have translated to I'm going to leave that pause in.
I know.
Well, realizing what's gone wrong, Pride completely freezes, not hearing the urgent pleas that she face herself back outside. Himbo Supreme immediately decides to try to come to the rescue, but that only places the kid in the crosshairs of the Danger Room as it continues its attacks on the Winged Wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Now she's gonna die. I guess they don't have to worry about that future.
With a barrage of small rockets headed her way, a small explosion lights up that particular corner of the Danger Room, but it doesn't get Kitty, as Aurora whirls her out of there on a little tornado.
Isn't there, an observation deck where she could have just talked to them through a fucking microphone?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
There very much is one of those.
Well, she's a teenager, so...
And she's new here. Storm's new order to the X-Men is to hit the reset button by any fucking means necessary.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Flesh Pyotr goes long to catch the baby.
Flesh Pyotr! The return of Flesh Pyotr.
He catches the path, but almost gets smashed to goo by one of the massive traps in the Danger Room, the Pile Driver.
Oh, God.
Luckily, Kurt has actually finally made it to practice, and he turns off the Danger Room just in time. And Pyotr's like, "Do not worry about being frightened, young one. I've just pissed my pants." Aurora is not happy that Kurt was late. Without that, none of this would have happened. It seems that we might have a case of TV while doing the chores. It won't distract me. I won't put off the vacuuming because I want to be able to hear what's happening on the TV, no siree. While he was doing the dishes, Kurt caught a local TV interview the professor was giving on some mutant hearings happening in Washington. Sounds pretty good, it doesn't seem.
Well, we know how those end.
Yeah, that always goes well. But then there's the other person who caused this to turn to. What the hell did she think she was doing entering the danger room when the light was on?
You don't enter when the light's on. That means they're recording.
Kurt tries to tease that she's just too eager for her first session and she couldn't contain herself. But she's not particularly responsive, still very on edge around Nightcrawler. Still, after chewing out Kitty for being in the danger room, it's actually time for Kitty to be in the danger room. And so the rest of the X-Men retreat to the control room. She's nervous. Very nervous. And so she closes her eyes as she begins walking through the room, phase hers set to intangible.
Yeah.
By the time she's made it past the final obstacle, eyes still closed, the crowd is going fucking wild in the danger room, just hooping and fucking hollering about how Kitty beat Chucko's test with her eyes closed in one try. Because he spent weeks setting it up.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
But she did beat the traditional test, made it across the room in one go.
Hold on. Do you think there's, like, a speed run for this thing?
Oh, God,
Speed
yes.
run stats.
Come on. There's gotta be, like...
Kitty just fucking broke the record.
And,
You know what I hope there is? I hope that the leaderboard is actually in the danger room so they can all watch their stats drop down one.
Yeah.
New course record.
So that's where the voice comes from.
And then she collapses. Kurt's quick to scoop her up, and on Aurora's order, he books it straight to the infirmary just to make sure the kid is all right. But even once the rest join him, Kit Kat is still unconscious. Kit Kat is still unconscious, and the X-Men can already tell there's something weird going on. Kitty's alive, but her brainwaves are looking funky as hell. And then, as soon as she blearily opens her eyes, she sits bolt upright and hugs Kurt, delighted to see him alive.
His fucking eyes are killing me.
I mean, if someone told you they were happy to see you alive.
Yeah. I'm not blaming him. I
and
just
while
think
getting
it's funny.
hugged, if someone hugged you happy to see you alive...
Oh, thank God, John, thank God you're alive.
What? What do you mean, alive? What's going on?
We're stuck in a time loop, John.
Not again.
This does not do much to relieve the confusion for the X-Men, even as Kitty continues babbling excitedly about how Rachel actually did it. She jumps out of her bed and has one hell of a story to tell. She's Kate Pride, here to warn them of her dire future and hopefully stop it from coming to fruition. What will happen today will cause all of this, because today is the day that the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants murder presidential candidate Robert Kelly, Charles Xavier, and Moira McTaggart.
Ah.
Cool.
The way it sounds, they probably aren't going to continue feeding her fish or test subjects or whatever, so I hope Sean still has that key code at the ready. But that's the first domino to fall with a potential ending of nuclear holocaust ahead. I want to take a moment to question Wolverine's assertion that she suddenly smells like a woman. What?
That's weird. It's the same body, first of all.
Makes no sense.
Second of all, shut up. Stop being weird.
Chris, why?
Anyway, Storm still doesn't believe her, but Charles Xavier can get to the bottom of this, so she's willing to go along with it for now. So they head on out to Warren's private jet and fly on down to DC. Guess the Blackbird must be in the shop for repairs.
Right. Actually, maybe it's in DC.
True. No,
is there.
It's not, though.
No? Okay.
It's not.
All right.
Okay.
Well, it's not an important spoiler, it's just not there.
Cool.
Thanks, Chris. I gave you the perfect answer of where the Blackbird is.
It's in the shop. She'd been in too much of a rush to get into details while they needed to get on the road, but now that they're on the road, Kate begins to explain the horrors to come. The plan from the Brotherhood was to get some humans to put some respect on Mutantkind's name or they'll fuck you up, which shockingly wasn't actually a good idea and people got scared.
Uh-huh.
Anti-mutant sentiment raged out of control, a burning fire that built up to the 1984 presidential bonfire election.
In which someone from France was being elected.
Apparently so.
I mean, that's a French flag!
It is. And a virulent anti-mutant candidate was elected. And then came the Mutant Control Act. Not legal, but who's counting? The Supreme Court, that's who.
I mean, the thing is, Chris, you don't actually know how little power the president has, do you?
Well, I mean, we've seen presidents pull some stupid shit with the little amount of power they have, so let's not fucking go there.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, we all know when the Supreme Court says no, these sorts of pieces of shit will just be like, how can I tweak this so it can still be as much of a piece of shit as possible, just a few people get away with mutant crimes. But actually, no, because what President Grand Wizard actually does is reactivate the Sentinels programmed to eliminate the mutant menace once and for all.
Cool.
Kate says that's fatally vague, but honey, what other fucking meaning could that have?
Right, they were taken to a nice farm upstate. All of them.
President Wizzy's 3-hour Skillshare course on coding lives up to the Sentinel tradition, and they immediately decide that the best way to achieve this is to take over the country. America-centric, perhaps, but we have more nukes than fucking anyone. Probably not combined, but it was the Cold War, so who goddamn knows?
It was combined.
God.
To be fair, it's just because we had more nukes than the Russians, and nobody else and there is
Came
no
close.
There is no close third.
Some people weren't even nuclear powers at the time. Yeah. So John, how do you think the Cold War was impacted by the Sentinel coup?
No, let's see.
Do you think communism ran wild in the West?
Well, if America is all wrapped up in tearing itself a new one because Sentinels are running rampant, I think the communists surge across the borders and go all the way to Portugal. And that's
why they're so happy. That's why everyone's so happy to just nuke the U.S.
And the United Kingdom is maybe the last bastion of non-communist Europe. And, Germany is unified, and, don't worry, in another decade, communism will fall apart because Khrushchev will still think people actually want to be here. But when it collapses, it's going to be worse.
There we go! Because it will be everywhere.
Yes.
Over the course of time, they wiped out the superpowered peeps widely and indiscriminately.
Except Thor.
Hero, villain, mutant, or none were safe from the Sentinels.
Maybe he just went home.
Yeah. We've got a collection of dead heroes for you here. Beast, Scarlet Witch, Cyclops, Angel, Nightcrawler, Professor X, Iceman, Daredevil, Vision, The Thing, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, The Human Torch, Doctor Doom, Mr. Fantastic, The Invisible Woman, the Hulk, the Black Panther, and Ghost Rider!
I'm sorry.
I love the Pokey Rap.
The gang's all here.
I'm starting to have doubts on some of these people they killed.
Ghost Rider?
Or Doctor Doom?
No, I don't know why he would be here, but no, I'll go with it. Sure.
Dr. Doom, I believe. The Hulk, I don't believe.
Yes, they killed the Hulk.
The Vision, I also don't completely believe.
They killed the Fantastic Four, including Ben Grimm.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he might have done some stupid shit that got him, extra killed because he was there for his woman.
But Ghost Rider, why?
I don't know.
Also, isn't there just a new...
dump some water on his head.
He's just a silly skeleton man riding his bike.
Wait, also, if you kill Ghost Rider, that doesn't mean you've killed the Ghost Rider.
That's true.
That's not how the Ghost Rider works, guys.
You killed that Ghost Rider.
You just killed one.
You killed Johnny Blaze.
You killed Johnny Blaze. There will be another. There's always another. There is always another Ghost Rider. It's how it works. I don't think there needs to be another Ghost Rider, but there will be.
Here's my favorite entry on the list, because Iron Man being on that list tells me a story, man.
Oh, shit.
There's no reason for them to target Tony. Everyone else here was superpowered in one way, shape, or form. I don't give a damn what Marvel says about Cap. He's superpowered. Fuck you, die.
Yeah.
He's a super soldier.
I think he went down trying to protect either one of his friends or someone else, or he was aiding and abetting a rebel movement or something. Tony Stark absolutely died a hero without question in my eyes.
Thank you.
And I mean, we know how Peter died. Being Spider-Man.
Obviously. Yeah.
Obviously.
Kate sobs into her hands as she relives the horrors of the years past, but she does pull it together to continue. The Sentinels have stuck to America because the world threatened war against them should they move. But the Prime Directive wasn't to eliminate all mutants in America. It was to eliminate all mutants. And they've consolidated their power long enough, they're ready.
I just want to know what Doctor Doom was doing in the United States at the time.
Nothing good, I'm sure.
How did he die?
He was probably trying to get some bullshit out from under the noses of the Sentinels.
Okay, but you know...
Something he wanted.
You know what? It tells as much of a story as Tony. Because he isn't from here.
Right? T'Challa as well, but like T'Challa's an Avenger.
Yeah. T'Challa works here. He's not from the United States, but he works in the United States.
He has a visa.
Yes, and diplomatic immunity. But Doom? Doom doesn't work
There
here.
was some bullshit. Something happened there.
Someone started a fight, he tried to finish it, and then maybe a Sentinel.
Yeah, he could have very easily... I think he could have been goaded into it.
But you know what? I'll bet you he took down at least one of them.
Oh,
maybe a legion of them.
More. Yeah, a whole bunch of them. There are Doombots everywhere, motherfucker.
He is a man who is easily goated.
And you know what? I will bet you cities burned as the Doombots were fighting Sentinels, losing in the end, but still.
Hell yeah. I'm into it. One of the last remaining X-Men, though, is a telepath, and she used her powers to swap their minds across time, choosing Kitty due to her psychic vulnerability, because she hasn't, had any training on that yet.
Right.
Meanwhile, back in our grim future dystopia...
Oh, we're not done with that.
Yeah, rather than our bland current dystopia, we're in the grim future dystopia.
Right.
The X-Men have linked up with Logan, and the bunch are fleeing through the subway tunnels back towards the heart of Manhattan. They had to leave Magneto behind, regrettably. The New York subway tunnels are not wheelchair accessible.
Well, I mean, that's just the MTA for you.
But he too died a hero and a drama queen, covering their exit with what I'm sure was a hell of a show.
Oh, yeah.
Again, that's just what the MTA is like for you.
What are you picturing? Because I'm seeing making skyscrapers bow.
I'd love to know how these men made of metal killed him.
Overpowered.
Yeah.
Outnumbered.
Yeah.
Beams.
Beams.
Beams. It's always the fucking beams, man.
They always get you when you don't expect them.
Well, speaking of that, the fleeing mutants suddenly hear noises from above, just as suddenly a blast of light smashes through the roof of the subway tunnel, nearly incinerating the last member of the Richards family in one go.
Ugh.
Can we get an F in chat?
F.
F.
The
F is for Franklin.
Press F to Franklin. Rachel, Franklin's, woman...
Girlfriend, in quotations.
Hits the thing so hard with a TK blast that it seems to have decapitated it.
Nice.
Good for her.
Congrats.
Go get you some vengeance. Treat yourself. Colossus then fastball specials Logan up to give another of the Sentinels the slap chop treatment. He at least ventilates it enough that Storm's lightning can finally do the trick and short-circuit this fool. But they're not out of the woods. Another patrol is approaching, and they're sure to find him within moments. So Piotr fucking tackles the bottom floor of a building out from under it, knocking the fucking thing down on the Sentinels.
Great.
Building physics has changed since when Thor did shenanigans with buildings. Remember when you could just kind of move a building and it didn't seem to care? It acted like it was Minecraft physics or
He did
something.
do that.
Yes, he did. I may not remember much.
But I remember that.
You remember the stupid things.
Yes. Yes, I do.
So that's really fucking cool. That's a cool thing to do.
You know, I'm just doing some estimates in my head, given how old they seem, and 2020s seem right-ish.
It's 2013 is our future year.
Really?
Yeah.
Rip everyone.
We're all dead now.
F in the chat.
Yeah,
F.
another F for Franklin. Just like Franklin. He will be missed.
Damn, I can't believe we all died in a nuclear holocaust.
Thank God.
Like 10 years ago.
I'm so glad.
I'm so relieved. I don't have to worry about anything anymore. I'm dead.
And with that, they're in the clear for at least the moment, able to keep moving towards their goal, the Baxter Building, Sentinel Headquarters.
Really?
That seems insulting.
I mean, that also ironically seems fitting with the Reed Richards from the future that I know, but...
Different Reed.
I don't know if it still is, but the Pentagon was once the largest office building in the world. Which is wild, because you really don't think of it as an office building. It's just like the Pentagon. It's a big ominous shape full of mysteries and men that could have you killed with a wink of an eye.
Yeah.
I mean...
Or women!
It's both.
Oh, there's a lady.
A woman like Raven Darkholm, Assistant Secretary for Research and Development. Of course, she could kill you without the delegation, because Raven Darkholm is the shapeshifter known as Mystique.
Introduction!
Leader of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. This time, along with Destiny, a precog, Avalanche, who I'm just going to read this because I have a lot of trouble parsing it out, whose touch crumbles any solid object, creating an avalanche/tidal wave effect with earth, stone, steel, anything.
Sure.
That's a power.
The Blob is here, and we know him already, and I'm going to let you guys guess what Pyro does.
Stuff with water.
You got it in one, buddy. She's got them all holed away here in one of the rooms at the Pentagon, and now that she's back, she wants updates from Destiny. The blind woman informs Raven that something has changed, but also that Blob is a sexist pig who needs to be put in his place, because Blob is a sexist pig who needs to be put in his place.
Guys, we knew that about the Blob when we hired him.
Refusing to take orders from a woman. He ignites a match to light up his stogie, only for it to erupt into a towering demon of flame. Pyro's doing. Well, Blob's ready to swing now, grabbing a nearby statue to pummel him with, only for it to crumble to dust in his hands, and Mystique's like, yeah, get it together, and Blob, fuck around and find out.
I mean, Blob can just sit on people.
Pyro has a face.
He has a terrible face.
His face is a face.
It's a very David Bowie face.
That seems mean to David Bowie.
Yeah, that's totally cruel
it's if
to Bowie.
Someone is feeling mean to David Bowie.
Of David
yes,
Bowie.
It is a caricature of David Bowie. A mean, cruel caricature of David Bowie.
Okay.
The Senate Committee on Mutants has opened up. Senator Kelly's got some dumb shit to say. That's really nothing new or particularly specific. What's more important is that Charles notices the entrance of his students and immediately reaches his mind out across the room to get the lowdown from Storm. I think the idea is that they're here because Warren got them access. As he's something of an important man himself.
So he bought his way in. Okay.
Well, he's an important man and a well-known mutant, so yeah, pretty much.
And money talks.
And money talks. Weirdly placed, but whatever. Charles is busy, so I guess Moira is allowed to talk. Don't these committees usually have, like, a bunch of guys sitting at the front and then people who talk? Is there usually someone prowling around the middle of the fucking room like a fucking prosecutor? I think we know something about Kelly's origins, huh? Moira points out that this is a stupid and pointless commission and there's nothing to fucking worry about, Kelly, you dinosaur.
Also, that's not how these work. People don't stand in the middle of these.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's
That's
like he's
what
prowling
Ripley just
around
said.
like he's a goddamn prosecutor.
I've seen this, and the one I'm thinking of is the video game violence one from the 90s.
Oh, God. That motherfucker.
Which tells you how serious these can be when they do that.
And then the wall caves in. It's the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, here to fuck shit up. But they don't stand unopposed, for as we know, the X-Men are also here.
Wow, it's
crazy.
Wow, those are some outfits.
I really like Destiny's outfit. I mean, it's stupid, but it's eye-catching.
Okay, but the Blob.
Well, he's dressed as he always is, frankly.
He's dressed. That's about all you can say.
He showed up. He wasn't happy about having to come here taking orders from this woman.
But look, there's a guy who's almost as big as he is. And he's wearing kind of armor and a helmet.
Well, yeah, but the Blob doesn't need it.
He's only that big because he's wearing the armor.
True.
So how do you rate that?
I'll give that a tentative 4.
4.
Okay, how do you think CMRO rated it?
4.95.
4.78. I'm at about a 4.5. I really enjoy it. The pacing feels a little strange is the only problem. I can't put my finger on why. The pacing feels slightly strange. It might just be because we're jumping back and forth and back and forth and back and forth so much.
I mean, the surreal part for me is I've seen the end of Piotr and Kitty.
That has nothing to do with this.
That's still...
Oh, okay. No, I understand.
The end of
That's
their
part of the
relationship.
rating.
The end of their relationship. I've seen where writers after Chris have taken it and put a bullet in it, and this is something that was set up here now.
Mm-hmm.
Can't escape it. And I can't not get away from that, but
okay.
I've never read this stuff.
Next up is, drumroll please.
Oh.
Uncanny X-Men 142, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Byrne, inked by Terry Austin, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski. Right in the middle of a storyline, the book officially changed names. Anyway, tally-ho.
Oh, great. Okay.
Thanks.
It's actually Uncanny X-Men now.
Cool.
It's officially, and it will be that way until 2011?
Right about, yeah, that sounds right.
Which is, it's like one of the last long-running series to end its long-running run. It is an absolute shame it didn't make it until...
Please go away. Please. Please.
No, it just doesn't. You just have to wait.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
It didn't used to do that.
I know. They just keep making
they have
worse.
put in updates and they all make it worse.
Yeah.
Marvel Unlimited. They keep updating their site and every update makes it worse.
It seems like
it just doesn't work on Firefox anymore.
I mean,
it just doesn't work.
Let's put it this way. I was going through that whole thing with the app a while back. Mm-hmm. Now they're doing it to the site.
Yep.
Not really. They're not really fucking with the interface. They're just fucking with weird little quirks of how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A different choice, but it's still worse.
It's still definitely not an improvement.
I really love how when I'm reading comics on my tablet, I cannot...
Oh, okay.
I really love how when I'm reading comics on my tablet, I can't rotate the screen anymore because it fucks up the whole window.
That's fun.
See, I don't have to worry about that because at least Android plays nice with that.
Yeah.
I've never really...
It's probably because I'm not using the app because I have a Windows tablet.
I've never really investigated how Windows handles that.
Badly.
Anyway, the first page is a very vague summary of the story so far, so let's move on to this face-off. Kelly isn't happy that he has defenders. Instead, he's riled up that they're fighting in the Senate?
Yeah.
This has never happened before.
Yes, it has. There have literally been fistfights in the Senate. Yes, they aren't that recent, but it has happened.
They should be. I think that politicians need to go back to, actually physically fighting each other.
Agreed.
Then the Civil War happened.
Well, not outside, just, in the Senate. I want the Senate to become a Thunderdome.
I meant in the Senate. They actually there was an actual fistfight in the Senate before the Civil War.
Well, we don't let them out afterward.
Cage match!
Oh, you want Battle Royale rules.
Well, no. What I was thinking is it's like a season gig, okay? So you win your seat, and you're on the season rotation. You're in the fight, and you just keep going in for your WWE SmackDown night or whatever, and you fight it out, and you do that until the end of your term, and then you can go back in if you want more, because the crowds love it. The crowd loves you. They want more, baby.
I don't know. I think Battle Royale rules might be fun.
Yeah, but that's annoying.
100 go in, 1 comes out.
Yeah, but what if the one sucks?
Yeah.
Well, we can always get rid of that one.
And, we have to do this over and over and over again? We have to do this every time? How are you going to find so many politicians that want to go in the Battle Royale? But never mind, forget I said that.
Anyway.
There's always politicians to send to the meat grinder.
At least they're not fighting in the UN this time.
At least they're only fighting in the Senate. Kelly orders the marshals to arrest everyone here, and, like, this absolute mad lad with the bowling balls down his trousers is absolutely getting a promotion if he lives through the swap Blob gave him.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the people who work in these buildings have the huevos.
You saw that motherfucker who misled those entire bunch of rioters away from all the hiding senators and shit.
You mean the man who kept a bloodbath from happening?
That motherfucker. That American fucking hero.
Yeah. So, there were guys with guns aiming at a door. There were men just outside that door. One guy, one capital city cop, kept...
fucking amazing. God, wish I knew that motherfucker's name.
Legendary behavior.
Absolute.
We don't... And the people who work inside there are not like the other police or security.
Oh, I'm sure they've had to go through all kinds of shit to get that job.
Yeah. And they don't just shoot to kill for any old reason.
Meanwhile, Avalanche turns his attention to the X-Men, turning the marble floor liquidy beneath their feet and sending everyone rolling forward.
Huh.
I get the gist of what they're going for with him, but it's
a choice.
Weird and vague.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm not sure they're 100% sure what he does.
I think they know what he does, but they're having a very hard time communicating it.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris is trying to tell a lot of story here in this
it's a two-parter. It's a two-parter. This isn't even a trilogy. It's a two-parter.
Okay, so it is a 10-pound story in a 5-pound bag. Jesus
Absolutely.
Christ. I did not know that this legendary story that has...
Two-parter.
2 issues long.
That has impacts for decades.
There was a fucking movie about this.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was not anywhere near it. I don't know. The movie is so far off from what's happening.
It's one of the better movies.
It's not a bad one. It's just like...
It's not like some of the ones at the very end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not bought. Anyway, I don't know. Why am I so weird about this? I want to rewatch the X-Men movies and maybe I'll remember it better than not be mad at it.
Yeah.
They introduced a lot of people to X-Men.
Yep. That wasn't actually... I didn't never really watch them much. Funnily enough.
Not my first introduction, but...
I didn't really get into the X-Men until I started reading comics.
That's one of those cultural touch points that I meant that, like, people who don't read comics know about the X-Men. Meanwhile, Thor movies were only a thing fairly recently, and they're also not super accurate to the comics.
They're not even telling the same stories for the most part. Whereas at least
X-Men is similar enough.
X-Men is telling some of the stories from the actual comics.
Avalanche could be a big problem, so Nightcrawler bamfs his way out of the tidal wave, going at his opponent hit and run style until Destiny tips off the brother to Kurt's next attack. Pyro, meanwhile, has set his mind on figuring out if Piotr can melt, grasping him with a giant flaming hand.
Oh, that usually doesn't work out well for people.
You know, most people usually find out that a giant metal man who is also...
on fire.
Who is also red hot is worse than when he was just a very large metal man.
Yeah.
Wolverine isn't going to let that stand, though, and the handbrake is gone, so it's claws out murder time.
So that's going to be on film.
Quickly realizing where this is going, Aurora swoops him out of there before quickly dousing Pyro.
Yeah, good, because, hey, Logan, that kills people.
He doesn't care.
And there's someone with a camera probably still recording.
In the middle of the fray, a policewoman heads over to Charles and Moira, directing them out of the room. Charles is just a moment too late on the uptake to recognize the cop as a fake, and she douses the pair with a paralytic nerve gas to at the very least take them out of the fight, so that's done. But Destiny still can't see a certain shape to the future anymore. Something is still off. The rest of the page is a summary of the fucked up future, so we can mostly just set our eyes there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 X-Men left in future dystopia land. The Sentinels are out in full force after the X-Men made their escape, but while they're searching for escapees, they're not searching for attackers.
What was I doing in 2013?
I was depressed.
Same.
I mean, yeah, but I
that
mean,
was around the time that we met, John. Somewhere around there.
A couple years after we'd already met. We met by 2011.
Yeah, we'd already met by 2013.
God damn.
Yeah.
I have no sense of time.
Yeah, I met you in like 2011.
Okay.
And
that's around when we met too.
Mm.
It was Youmacon 2011, I think.
And I knew you slightly before then.
Yes.
Because of reasons. Cursed reasons.
So, while the Sentinels are out searching for their escapees, they're not searching for attackers. And so slowly the group's been closing in ever closer to the Baxter building.
I mean, you know what? That's not untrue.
Deployed all over the place, they've left their headquarters guarded by one lone sentinel.
That seems like a bad plan.
But that is actually a bad plan. They must have a manpower shortage.
Well, it's a big country, man.
Yeah.
Storm quickly takes the thing down, leaving Rachel and the still unconscious Kate tucked into this little alcove next to the downed sentinel.
It's a big country, and the Hulk eviscerated Master Mold.
I'm calling shenanigans on
the Hulk.
On the Hulk being dropped by any of these. I'm sorry, but no, Chris, you don't read Hulk.
Okay, but. We're assuming that they actually have the body and didn't just say, oh, yeah, he's dead.
Oh,
yeah.
Nothing could have lived through that.
Oh, they shot him into space, didn't they?
Yeah, and then he just they touched back down in Mongolia, and they just didn't ever realize it.
But no, they actually shot him into space. And actually, if he isn't, or at the very least, if he's out of the country, they wouldn't know.
True.
Also, Doom's probably alive back in Latveria. Faking after he faked his own death.
Doubt. I don't think that Doom's ego would allow Doom to remain undercover.
It would if it was for a greater good of snuffing out rebellion in his own homeland.
I don't think so.
I'm not seeing it. I think his pride would be too damaged.
I think as soon as he left America, he'd be like, the Sentinels tried to kill me.
That's exactly what I think.
What if it's just propaganda in the U.S. that they killed Doom and Hulk?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. There we go. Yeah.
I mean, no one's going to see the bodies.
Yeah.
And this is a fascist police state.
There's no... take their word for it.
You just have to take their word for it.
All right, what are you going to do? Ask them more?
You're going to go online and look it up.
Yeah, it's 2013.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Come on, the internet. The internet's here.
Google, did the Sentinels really kill the Hulk?
God, I keep losing my place. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's 2013.
Okay.
It's
we have
so
a lot to talk
funny.
about, and I'm enjoying it. We have had very little show to give anyone, so fuck it. Since they apparently just took over the thing Okay. So, they tuck Rachel and the still unconscious Kate into this little nook next to the downed Sentinel, while the rest continue on into the Baxter building. Since the Sentinels apparently just took the thing over wholesale and didn't bother to do a security check, the Fantastic Four's private elevator still works.
Great.
You know, I'm starting to wonder if the Fantastic Four are dead.
Well, I mean, I think they are dead. I think anyone who has the, headstones, not to mention Franklin, I feel like, would have some things to say.
Yeah, I suppose. You got me there. Hulk lives, though.
Hulk lives. Agreed.
In our hearts.
No, he is physically, tangibly alive.
Now?
He is just...
Here?
Yeah.
In Europe. Fighting communism.
Okay.
Damn. God! Oh my god, I can't believe that Hulk is an anti-communist. God. So Logan's got the gadget to make it go, so the three catch the express elevator all the way to the top. Time, 1980, the present. The fight isn't going all that well. The Brotherhood haven't gotten their hands on Kelly yet, though quickly the fight is turning into a debacle. Storm finally decides the only option is to knock out a second fucking wall from this room, sweeping everyone outside the building to continue their brawling where innocent people are less likely to get hurt.
I suppose.
I've got to read this one because it's been making me giggle.
Uh-huh.
As Colossus discovers that, where the blob is concerned, he is far from an irresistible force and a very movable object.
That's kind of funny.
So anyway, these two have been going at it for a bit when the army shows up and shows off what all those Defense Department dollars are going to. They've got the top of the line...
Net?
What?
Nets?
Net?
No.
No.
I was hoping for a net.
No.
They have beams!
Like that time that Thor was in England and he was fighting the demon druid and the British army
you know what?
showed
I'm
up
starting to think
had
that
a net.
I'm starting to think that the British threatening the United States with nuclear annihilation might just be a giant bluff.
Yeah.
Because they're, state-of-the-art net technology.
Versus these guys, they've got this top-of-the-line Shaw Industries concussion cannons, both tank-mounted and mobile.
Oh.
Because if Tony Stark won't sell weapons to the government, someone will.
Uh-huh.
They also have the Army's flamethrower brigade to show those chumps in the NYPD how it's done.
That's a war crime, guys.
That might happen if not for Pyro, but unfortunately, Pyro.
Yeah.
So, it's a good thing these are our own civilians, because otherwise that'd be violating the Geneva Convention.
Good thing it's not.
Yeah, good thing it's being used as a police action against civilians in your own country.
Yes.
And therefore it's not violating the Geneva Convention.
He unleashes a massive fire monster on the men, quickly encroaching on them. Either it or Pyro has some degree of limited intelligence, because Angel's ploy to draw the fire demon actually does draw its attention away from the soldiers.
How?
Pyro has limited intelligence. You heard me here first.
And he has less now because it's in the fire monster.
Once our toasty Brit realizes the blob is about to get skewered on Wolverine's claws, though, he splits the monster in two.
He's British?
Yeah, he is.
You did not mention that.
It just kind of came up in passing. He called him a limey Brit.
Okay, now I think he's definitely supposed to be a terrible pastiche of David Bowie.
Ugh.
The fire monster grabs Logan tight in a blazing fist.
That's gonna buff out. Don't worry, it'll be fine.
He's actually having a really hard time with it. He cries out in pain, and Storm knows that even with his ability to heal, that's only going to take him so far. He needs to get loose now.
Oh, right. He hasn't become the legendary, immortal, god-being Wolverine yet.
Right.
He's just mildly quick-healing, stabby man.
Also, it still hurts.
I know, but no.
Aurora blasts the flame monster apart with a fearsome sudden gust of wind, leaving Wolvie steaming. Nightcrawler drops in to check on him, and he's definitely hurting, but that's when a second Nightcrawler jumps at the first, declaring the other a fake!
Great.
Fun.
The two then roll about, trading blows. The only solution Logan can come up with is to stab them and know that the real Kurt will be able to teleport away.
Oh my god.
I mean...
Storm interrupts this flawless plan to tell him no the fuck he is not going to do that. I honestly love this whole exchange. Anybody want to be Storm?
No.
Okay.
I'm tired. I'm sorry.
Alright, John, want to be Storm?
Not particularly.
Fine, I'll be everyone. Wolverine, sheathe your claws. Not a chance. We're in the middle of a fight, Storm. I'm in no mood for a debate. Sheath them or use them on me. That can be arranged, babe. I am the leader of the X-Men, and while that is so, you will use your claws when I command, no other time. I wouldn't take that from Cyclops, eh? You will take it from me. You possess speed, strength, your unbreakable adamantium skeleton makes you nearly invulnerable. You should not need your claws, except in the most extreme of situations, against the deadliest and most powerful foes. All right, Storm. I'll do it your way, for now. But this conversation ain't finished, not by a long shot.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
I don't know, I just really enjoyed that. While they bickered, though, I guess Avalanche just walked up and decided that was boring, so he ripped the sidewalk out from underneath them.
No shit.
Avalanche decided to change the channel to action.
Had it with this boring talky shit.
Yeah, he doesn't like drama. He likes action.
And it sends the pair tumbling. Colossus and Wolverine then engage in the silliest horseshit I've seen since the Xenox.
Where did he get that?
What? So that came out of the Pentagon?
So Colossus grabs a giant steel beam and then gets Wolverine over to bend over on the floor and be a fulcrum, so because he can't beat the Blob mano and mano, but perhaps with the help of some simple machines we can change that.
God.
He lines up the beam between the Blob's legs, who apparently just didn't notice this happening at all, and then slams down on his ends, launching the Blob up into the air by the fucking nuts.
Oh my God.
So what's the Blob been doing all this time? What is
holding a rock?
He was fighting with Colossus. Oh, while he was doing that, I have no goddamn idea.
What was the Blob doing while Colossus wandered
Colossus
away?
was finding a giant I-beam.
And lining it up underneath the family jewels.
Yeah. So Blob
He's just standing there holding a rock.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go? I was just fighting him. Where'd he go?
It's like in Skyrim.
The big fireman's gone.
You crouch, and suddenly they can't see you anymore.
The big fireman is gone, and now I don't know what to do. I was going to kill some guys, and I haven't killed some guys.
Blob comes tumbling back down to Earth in a bunker buster, but Colossus just punches him in the nuts again. This time right into Avalanche. 2 birds, 1 stone, 2 dick blows.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, Blob, you are not having kids.
The boys are not having a fun time of it today.
My God, you are not having kids.
So the tide of battle is turning pretty quickly. Storm then douses Pyro, so that's one problem less to sort out. And one of the Nightcrawlers appears to be victorious.
Okay, Logan.
And it's ours!
Oh, good.
I was about to say, hey, Logan, now it's your turn to stab the survivor to see if he's a winner.
No, we know which one's the winner. It's ours. Though Kurt is shocked to look at the woman. She looks shockingly similar to him.
Mm-hmm.
The same blue skin, the same glowing eyes.
Uh-huh.
He's even more confused after Mystique name drops his adoptive mom. Before he gets the chance to ask any more, though, Warren flies up like, "Move, little buddy, the army are coming, and they're not gonna be happy about seeing you." Mystique slips away in the chaos, and the X-Men make to do the same, before Piotr reminds them all that Kate is still inside protecting Senator Kelly.
Oh, God.
The elevator has climbed all the way to the top of the Baxter building, opening on to what were once the wondrous labs of Mr. Fantastic, now occupied by one of the head honcho Sentinels, an executive model. Wolverine's practically salivating at the idea of sinking his claws into that bad boy and asks for a fastball special, which Colossus is happy to go along with, hurling him through the air. And that's when the Sentinel turns, blasting him in midair, dead before he even hits the ground.
Fuck.
Wow, yeah, power creep has really come for him since.
Yeah.
He ain't getting up, buddy.
Yeah.
He ain't getting up. I don't think I've seen Project...
incinerated him to a skeleton. Holy shit.
Oh,
He ain't getting up.
That might be the most thorough execution of a Wolverine I have ever seen. And probably ever will be.
Enraged, Storm lashes out with her lightning, frying the big boy Sentinel, but this was a trap all along.
Ugh.
All the easier to get them back in one place.
Ah.
And so quickly, 2 more Sentinels emerge to replace the first, but they're still not going to go down without a fight. Together they manage to down 1 Sentinel, but then a second throws a spear at Piotr. Aurora sees it coming and she jumps in front of it to try and protect her friend, saving his life, at least for a moment, at the cost of her own.
A spear? Okay.
I think it's like an internal projectile thing.
Just
Yeah.
seems so random for a Sentinel. Have we ever seen a Sentinel throw a spear?
I don't know, we might have. I think they come out of the tips of their fingers,
Yeah.
I think.
Maybe.
It seems that way.
Piotr had always been a man tied closely to life through his upbringing as a farm boy. Aurora, in that way, had been something of a kindred spirit to him, and now she, like the rest of this world, is gone. and Piotr rage explodes, throwing the remaining sentinel through the window. But there are more to come. He puts on his bear shirt and lets loose, but soon, down below, Rachel feels Piotr follow the rest of his friends into darkness, leaving only her, cradling Kate's unconscious body to her chest in the shadow of a ruined sentinel. So there's one problem with the whole we defeated the Brotherhood thing, with the whole we defeated the Brotherhood we did it thing, and that's that no one was keeping an eye on the blind broad.
Yeah.
She now has a crossbow, which frankly seems unsafe for everyone in this situation.
That's a very random weapon to have.
But she's got superpowers. I think she'd know if she was going to accidentally shoot herself in the foot. She's got Robert Kelly cornered, but Kelly isn't necessarily alone. Kate finally sees the moment she's been waiting for. The moment that saves the world. She dives through destiny, solidifying her arm enough to knock the precog's aim off just enough that she misses Kelly entirely. And with that, she's pulled back across the rift of time, and a bleary kitty is left in her place. She's still trying to put the pieces of what's going on together when the cavalry arrives a bit late to the battle. They gather up the poor kid, and Storm tells Kelly off for being a piece of shit about all mutants because they're just folk. Later, they all converge on Angel's plane. So remember how I said the Blackbird wasn't there? Nope. They're all going back on Angel's plane.
Okay. Yeah.
And they start putting the pieces of the day together for one very confused sprite. At the end of the day, though, who really even knows if they did save the day?
Yeah.
It's now December, and the president has called a midnight meeting at the White House between a motley crew of creeps. We have Senator Kelly, Sebastian Shaw, and Henry Peter Gurich.
Really?
Yep. After reading a report from Kelly, the president has found himself both concerned by and in agreement with Kelly's recommendations, unconstitutional as they may be. And so Henry Peter Gurich will be at the head of something called Operation Wide Awake, while the government will work in conjunction with Sebastian Shaw to begin constructing new Sentinels.
Ugh.
Well, you know, I can believe Reagan would do that.
So was Kelly like a third party then, do you think? Or are the Democrats running on a spay and neuter your friendly neighborhood mutants platform?
That's a good one. I mean, yeah, it could be a, might have been primary.
Yeah.
No, it's November.
Oh, you're right.
Fuck.
I'm thinking he's the third party just running on the mutant hate bandwagon.
Yeah.
And it wins big.
Except but he didn't win.
He didn't win.
Or it would have.
So big by the standards of a third party candidate.
Yeah.
Especially with his death. It sweeps the nation.
Well, he didn't die, luckily.
Did not die.
No.
So how'd you like that?
Whew, boy.
It was a lot.
10-pound story, 5-pound bag.
Yeah.
Very apt description.
5 though.
Yeah. 5.
Yeah.
What do you think CMRO thought?
5.
1.28.
They actually liked it, I think, let me double check this. They liked it less than the last one. They liked it 4.71 versus 4.78.
Okay.
That's barely a difference.
Yeah, it's not a huge difference. It's just a thing. Anyway, at 2.5 hours, that's going to be it for us this week.
We had to do extra long recaps.
Yeah, we had to kind of make up for that fucking horse shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to be back at you next time, and we look forward to talking to you then. Bye.
Bye.